pressure. The Intimidator sure knows how to pour it on. Chasing a record 8th championship, he passed the field with ease at Bristol. Came from last to lead at Charlotte. Battling would-be titleist Jeff Gordon door to door. Gordon had glitches in his championship run, tearing out the drive line, leaving the pits at Charlotte, missing a shift and a sure victory at Pocono. Can the youngster overcome the pressure and take another step toward his first championship today? Rockingham's next. TNN Motorsports presents live coverage of the AC Delco 400 Nascar Winston Cup stock car race from Rockingham, North Carolina. Well, the bolts are all torqued a little tighter with just 3 races to go in 1995. Drivers who need a win, drivers who need a sponsor or a ride, drivers who need to finish well in this championship. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Joy. Where are the screws turned tightest this morning? Let's start with the man who leads the Winston Cup point standings, and Randy Pemberton.
Well, actually, Mike, it's Glenn Jarrett, and I'm standing beside Jeff DuPont. Jeff, Ray Evernham, and the entire DuPont team know exactly what they have to do in today's race, but that doesn't make things any easier. Evernham told me just a while ago, man, I wish this thing were over. Jeff, tough day ahead of you. What's the game plan?
Game plan is to go 393 laps. You know, that's the toughest thing to do here at Rockingham. This place is slick, so, you know, we're just going to try to keep our nose clean, but if we could be there at the end of this race, I think we can be in contention.
Absolutely. He always runs well here. Best of luck to you, Jeff, from everybody at TNN. Now we're going to go back upstairs. Here's Mike Joy.
Thanks, Glenn. Among the pre-race favorites must be Mark Martin, who goes for his 3rd straight win today. Don't forget, Mark won his first Winston Cup race right here at the Rock, October 1989. Dick Bergeron, the editor of Stock Car Racing Magazine, joins us. And Dick, with Friday being a washout, Saturday was topsy-turvy.
Bizarre, at least, Mike, for sure. Gary Bradbury, who has never run a competitive lap here at Rockingham, managed to land a ride at the last possible minute, put his car in the field in 12th. Ernie Irvin, who was hoping to come back here and make a return to the big racetracks, didn't make the cut. But the biggest surprise is all is the pole. Hut Strickland, who never won a pole in his life, running for a lame duck team that's going to sell everything in just a few days. He's your pole sitter.
In fact, the first 3 drivers in the field have never won a Winston Cup race, nor have 5 of the top 10. Let's meet the man all the pressure is on as he starts from the pole today for the first time. Here's Randy Pemberton.
Mike, it took a lap of 155.379 miles per hour for Hut Strickland and his Quaker State Ford to put it on the pole. Hut, the question to you has to be, you're on the pole now and you're up front now, but can you keep it up here all afternoon?
Well, I tell you, Randy, we certainly hope so. You know, we've worked awful hard. Yesterday we was able to have a couple of long runs, and you know, seemed to really worked on our tire wear, and we've got that going pretty good. So you know, we don't know. We'll just have to wait and see, but we feel really good about it.
Okay, good luck this afternoon, Hut. Well, Hut has an added incentive this afternoon, $60,800 from Unical if he can win this race from the pole. His best finish ever here at the Rock, 9th in 1992. Mike?
Thanks, Randy. And I'm sorry, Glenn, you guys look a lot alike. My broadcast colleague, Buddy Baker, took a look earlier at what's new and what's changed here at Rockingham.
Mike, you know, it's a beautiful day here at Rockingham. Brand new press room, brand new garage area, brand new scoring stand at the far end down here, and a brand new format, dropping back from 500 miles to 400 miles. What you're going to see is not going to surprise you that much. You're going to see great racing, of course, but I've checked around. I read some books last night on who won the race here, and the guy leading at 400 miles won 20 times out of the past 30 races here. So all you're going to see is the driver getting along a little bit better. The endurance won't be such a factor, and racing, I think, will be at a little higher pitch.
They have fired the engines to go 400 miles here at Rockingham today. Stay with us for TNN's live coverage.
Hello. Okay, thank you.
Hello, I hear you. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I was here when he wrecked yesterday. Yeah. Oh, okay. That wasn't that bad. I watched it that time.
No, it's fine.
Knocked me out the first time. What they need to do is put that camera just a little bit closer. They can get it in my nose next
Mike's
time.
right about the light. Anytime you're in direct sunlight, it's a lot harder.
Now to Glenn.
Yes.
We were going to start without him, you know. Really bumble this thing.
No,
Hey.
thank you.
Hey.
No,
Hey.
thank you.
Glenn said Jeff DuPont.
Did he say? I feel better.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Is Eli up there?
Oh, my.
Your ass. I'm sorry. This is the first time in 5 years I've done that to him, I think. It's also probably the last time.
Waiting on Randy to answer.
He's right next door. I was that close to throwing it back to Eli. Mike? Yeah, you might as well have. No, you could have done that once. No, I don't think so. Yeah, once. Sorry, Glenn. Jeez. Oh, well.
Today's exclusive coverage of the AC Delco 400 on TNN is brought to you by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We are driving excitement. By the more than 1,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. By Texaco, clean System 3 gasolines. Add more life to your car. Take it to the star. And by Red Dog Beer. Bold yet smooth. Unusually easy to drink. You are your own dog.
Welcome back to Rockingham as they pull out on the first of 3 pace laps. Here's the way they line up today. Hut Strickland is on the pole, his first career pole in his 192nd start. Michael Waltrip has his first front row start this season. Row 2, Ward Burton, sophomore, has his 3rd top 5 start of the year, and Jeff Gordon, the point leader, dominated here in March. Mark Martin, winner of the last 2 Winston Cup races, and Dick Trickle makes his 7th top 10 start this year. Ricky Rudd has finished 2nd here 3 times, and Darrell Waltrip, a 4-time Rockingham winner. Joe Nemechek, first top 10 start since Indy, and Derek Cope, his 7th top 10 this year. Morgan Shepherd finished 3rd here last year, and rookie Gary Bradbury in the ADG Dillard car. Terry Labonte, a 2-time Rockingham winner, and John Andretti in row 7. Kyle Petty has won here 3 times, and Rick Mast was runner-up last year. Bobby Hamilton, 6th here in 1991, and Rusty Wallace, a winner here 5 times. Jeremy Mayfield and Dale Earnhardt, the defending champion of this race. Ricky Craven, who made his Winston Cup debut here 4 years ago, and Jeff Bodine, runner-up in 1990. Bill Elliott has 3 Rockingham wins, and Ken Schrader. Robert Presley will start a backup car. He crashed in practice. Bobby Hillen Jr., who finished 8th here in 89. Dale Jarrett won at Pocono in July, and Sterling Marlin, 3-time winner this year, 3rd in the points. Bobby Labonte, a close 2nd here in March, and Mike Wallace, 2nd in yesterday's 3-wide finish. Steve Grissom was 6th here in March, and Jeff Burton makes his 4th start here. Todd Bodine, his photo finish win yesterday, came in a Chevy. Today he's in a Ford. And Jimmy Spencer, who broke his shoulder but will start today. Rich Bickle will stand by for relief. Elton Sawyer makes his first Winston Cup start at the Rock. And Brett Bodine has 3 top 10s here. His team won the Pit Crew Championship yesterday. Ted Musgrave, furthest back he started all year. And Greg Sachs. Then Lake Speed with the provisionals. He ran 2nd here in 1988. And Shane Hall, the 26-year-old All-Pro racer, makes his Winston Cup debut. Your AutoZone race analysis brought to you by the more than 1,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, best parts in auto parts. 40 cars start today's race. 393 laps, a new distance here at Rockingham, 400 miles. The 61st Winston Cup race held here. He'll be riding today in the Valvoline Cummins Diesel Ford. Mark Martin in the Jack Roush-owned Steve Meal prepared machine. Inside and from the roof cam and driver cam. brightly painted helmet of Martin's with the dark shield getting set to roll. And the STP Pontiac, Bobby Hamilton, who had such a great run up at Dover in that concrete car the last time we were on a 1-mile super speedway. There's the root cam on the Richard Petty owned and Robbie Loomis wrenched STP Pontiac. And suspension cam for Bobby Hamilton today. There's the air ducting to the brakes, spring, sway bar and linkage, shock absorber, and the requisite decals, of course. Pace car has stretched out the field, waiting for Michael Waltrip to pull up alongside Hut Strickland, and will be set to go for 400 miles. Michael hanging back just a little bit as we come to the line.
Mike, what he's doing, he knows it's very important to get a great start here. He was anticipating, but Hut jumps out in front there.
Waltrip dives to the bottom, and Ward Burton says, no way, you're not getting to the bottom of the racetrack. Ward shoots up and holds him single file. Hut Strickland will jump out to a little lead. Well, Michael tried everything to get to the bottom of the racetrack.
Well, it's so important because you have to carry so much turn speed here to get the line around the bottom part of the racetrack, and everybody fights for that in the early part of the race. But you will see two good runs around here. The bottom lane, the second lane will be used quite a bit today.
Dick Trickle got caught on the high side. Now Derek Cope tries to get in line behind Darrell Waltrip. Joe Nemechek comes up. He's there. Everybody wants to get single file for these opening laps, and that's not an easy thing to do.
Well, you see Jeff Gordon there. He's letting them know he's there. He's making it too wide down the front straightaway. He's trying to get under Michael Waltrip. Mike shuts the door on him.
With Derek Cope in the wall. At start-finish, he's going to save it. He's going to keep it up against the fence, and the caution will wave. Derek Cope coming off turn number 4 and headed for start-finish, nosed it up into the wall. And when it looked like the car would slide off, he kept it there. Now, there's Cope. He is still running. We'll have to bring the Bobby Allison-owned straight arrow forward, pit side. Watch the left side of your screen here.
Mikey gets sideways coming out of turn 4 and just slaps the wall hard there. And he's really not keeping it against the wall. I imagine the front end's messed up pretty bad there, and it's turning itself into the wall. You see him come away and back into it again.
Gary Bradbury, the rookie, dove to the left, crinkled up another car. You'll see his number 31. And see if in this replay you see Earnhardt going all the way to the grass to get away. Cope. So the first caution is out, and Cope has already been on pit road for repairs. They pit on both sides of the racetrack here at Rockingham, and we'll be right back.
Sterling's got a flat left rear. 12 car went through the pit, catch up with the field.
He's coming in now, Randy.
Gordon radioed in and said the car feels great. I think it's a little too good right now.
Huh.
Driver change.
What's that?
Driver change with Spencer.
All right.
He already done it?
Right
now. Right now. Not getting
Thank
out.
you. It's not his car, but
It used to be.
yeah, right, it did. Wow. How about that? That's it. Yeah, I do, especially if you pan back over to the suspension. Actually, you can see the left front wheel. Oh, never mind.
You talk about the fact it's got an electric fan and a mechanical fan. They usually have mechanical.
Okay, I like that. I like it when we start on the engine and come back around. Yeah, we can do something with that. Although they're one to go, we won't get to it this time. Right. Yeah. We're getting set for the restart. Derek Cope has made 2 pit stops to clean up right side damage on his car. Jimmy Spencer has made a pit stop. He has been replaced in the Smoke and Joe's Ford by Rich Bickle. Hut Strickland has led every lap so far as Doyle Ford puts the green flag in the wind. They come back to start finish for the restart. Single file back to the field. Bobby Hamilton moves around Gary Bradbury. And Earnhardt's on the move. You see him underneath Rick Mast.
I wonder what this is doing to the price of the 26 team. I wonder if the price is going up for every lap he leads.
I would think this car would bring a good price at auction if the team ends up being split up at auction in November.
Yeah, and that's the plan. They're going to auction it all off piece by piece. Tried to sell it whole. There were no buyers.
All right, Rick Mast and Earnhardt side by side here. Rusty Wallace moving up, and for the lead, Ward Burton. For Bill Davis, Chris Hussey, and that MBNA Pontiac team.
Boy, it looks like Ward Burton's able to stick a little bit lower in the corner coming out. He'll have to make his pass there. He can't quite get up beside Hut Strickland. Hut's car is extremely fast now. He turns under him right there. That should be for the pass right there.
Boy, how many great young drivers have been with Bill Davis. Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte. Randy LaJoie had a shot here, and now Ward Burton. Here comes the field. Hut Strickland getting hung out to dry here.
Exactly. You hear us talk about a preferred line. That's when you get out of it. It's what Hut Strickland's going through right now. You see Mark Martin tucking under him. He lost 4 spots in the past 2 laps here.
Well, he got hung out to dry. Now he's getting clotheslined by the first 5 drivers. Once Ward Burton went underneath, Michael Waltrip, Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, and now Ricky Rudd have followed suit. Here's Gordon looking under Michael Waltrip.
Jeff Gordon called in a while ago and told him, he said, my car might be too good this early in the race because a real fast car normally is a little bit too loose as the tires get older.
See how that plays out as the day goes on here. Ward Burton's taken off. He's got a 6-7 car length lead on Jeff Gordon. There you see them ahead of 4th place Mark Martin. One thing, buddy, we spoke of yesterday, especially from Mark's shot, you saw in Michael Waltrip's car just how softly sprung these cars are here at Rockingham. A lot of suspension movement.
You know, I bet if you went to the top 10 cars right now, you'd see them all sprung very, very soft. But really, the real trick right now is the way they fine-tune it with the shocks. That seems to be the whole thing anymore, the shock and how you make it work.
Dick, so many of these teams as Mark Martin runs for 3rd place here, and he's going to get it down the front straightaway from Michael Waltrip. A number of these teams now have a new position this year, shock engineer.
Yes, Rusty Wallace just hired a shock engineer, and I asked him the other day what was the big key to his success when he won 3 of them here just about back-to-back. He said shocks, 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 and we hired the guy that was the shock engineer that figured all that out. He did a test at Phoenix, and we ought to be seeing him come through the field and show up front fairly soon if he's right.
And Tom Hoke, who was with Bilstein Corporation, now works for Penske Racing South. Ricky Rudd pulls down on Hut Strickland, the pole sitter. Rudd looking to win a race for 13 consecutive seasons. He's got 3 shots left to do it.
Mike, you see Jeff Gordon there moving in on Ward Burton. He is extremely fast right now. He pulled down 15 car lengths in the past 2 laps on Ward Burton.
Burton led 1 race in the A.G. Dillard number 31, and since moving over to the Bill Davis car, he's now led 3.
7th at Charlotte, last race the Winston Cup cars ran. 33 years old, Ward Burton is part of the future of NASCAR Winston Cup stock car racing. There's some more of it right behind him. A lot of good young men here. Going to hear a lot from them in the time to come.
Terry Labonte closing in on Dick Trickle. One of the good but not young men. Trickle at 53. One of the elder statesmen of the Winston Cup circuit.
Young at heart, though. That's all that counts.
And still looking for a ride in 1996. Doesn't have anything nailed down yet. Terry Labonte on the bottom side. Joe Nivacek right behind him as Trickle gets a little bit loose there coming off the corner.
Now, the latest rumor is that Morgan Shepherd might replace Trickle, and Shepherd is a youthful 54.
Just a kid.
Right.
Well, they're both fine drivers, and sometimes you just have to make a change. If you're not getting the job done, not winning races, you'll change just, not that it's going to be a better deal, it just might work a little bit better. Wow, did you see that?
Bobby Hamilton almost pizza John Andretti right there. But they get underneath Darrell Waltrip and Dick Trickle. Now, that black and orange car is Kyle Petty. They have that pumpkin paint scheme. And I think that's Elvira on the hood. Well, picture of.
Great pumpkin, they call this car.
And Dale Earnhardt right behind.
Yeah, he's about to make some pumpkin pie.
Yeah,
he is flying.
Oh, it is a pumpkin. Yesterday it looked like something. It was something different yesterday.
The Earnhardt there, he's picking his way through this traffic also. He's being a little careful because there is just one groove. You seen a while ago when Derek Cope got a little bit too high, he got into the wall. Right now you have to use a lot of patience.
Earnhardt moves up to 12.
Bradbury in the 31 is doing a great job. He's right behind Earnhardt, hanging in there.
Now, he was only had 9 laps of practice before qualifying. That's all he'd ever seen on this track. As Kenny Strader got up and into Jeremy Mayfield just a little there. They work underneath Morgan Shepherd in the Citgo Ford that Michael Waltrip will drive next year. Now, Rusty pulls up on the outside behind Morgan, and he's got nowhere to go unless he's able to get to the bottom.
Look at this pack of cars right here. I mean, these are good race cars. They didn't qualify that well. You just have one lap here, and if you mess up just a little bit, you were right in the back of the field. You see there, Bill Elliott, I see Rusty Wallace in that group.
Bobby Hillens there, Todd Bodine in the 75. I think they're being a little bit cautious at this point, buddy, in part because yesterday 15 cars crashed out of the Grand National race here, and they all saw it. Some of them were involved in that and crashed out themselves. So look at the skid marks. That's part of that race yesterday.
You could see Ricky Rudd taking a little bit wider line going in the corner. Now, tire management's going to really play out here because we're understanding from the teams that they can only go about 50 laps before the tires really give up on these cars.
We invite your comments and your questions about Winston Cup racing, about this race in particular. Our toll-free number is open all day. It's 1-800-451-7331, so give us a call. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That helped. When I was...
Go ahead, Randy.
That's Strickland sideways.
Hey, guys. You ain't hurt bad.
That's Richard Brooks.
Get her going, Hud. Get her going. Come on around. Get caught up.
Richard Broom.
Yeah.
I didn't see if he got hit or not.
Okay, guys.
Caution. He
Left rear corner. Left rear corner.
I think Michael Waltrip might.
Yeah,
Caught up, Hud. Get caught up.
Today's exclusive coverage of the AC Delco 400 on TNN is brought to you by Napa. We keep America running.
Fans are on their feet for an incident down in turn number 1. We are under caution, and Hut Strickland, the pole sitter, is limping around the racetrack after a bump and spin.
Mike, he's really tearing up that race car right now. The left rear is all apart, and it's knocking the inner panels out of the car there.
So Strickland will have to pit. The leaders are in. Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Jeff Gordon has been talking about how good it was. He said it's getting a little loose in 3 and 4, so they're going to put a round of bite in the right rear. Of course, they will change 4 tires. There has been some discussion, guys, on the radio. We've been monitoring both Ward Burton and Jeff Gordon. Ward wanted to know if his crew wanted him to let Jeff by and lead a lap, get the 5 bonus points. They said no. They work very closely with Richard Childress. If he can pass you, he'll pass you and do it, but we can't just let him by. But he did beat Ward Burton out of the pits down here.
That's fair for all. A couple of tires rolling out from pit road. The one at the top of your screen came from Terry Labonte's pit. And I'm not sure where this one was from. Let's show you what happened to Hut Strickland here, the green car.
Okay, you see Hud on the outside there going into turn 1. Michael Waltrip gets into the left rear corner just a little bit. It don't take much at that part of the racetrack.
It looked like Hut came down right across Michael's nose looking for the low lane.
Yeah.
And that's probably the most common kind of source of accident in Winston Cup racing. Driver thinks he's got somebody else clear. Driver thinks everybody else has got plenty of room, and you just touch. And they are running so close to the edge, that is the consequence, right in the wall.
And you see the repair on the left side of the Quaker State Ford.
Mike, they are showing that the 24 car of Jeff Gordon is in the lead, so that's the 5 points he was needing.
Good quick pit stop by Ray Evernham's Rainbow Warriors. Strickland back out. Repairs continue on Derek Cope's car, and they're picking up debris along the front straightaway. We'll be right back.
Mike, check. 1, 2.
Okay.
How long do we have? Jeff Gordon led in every race he's been in.
Except one. He
Except
didn't lead
one.
Sonoma.
No, go ahead.
No, that's you. Okay. 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 Will he also update Hutt? Okay, great. Welcome back to Rockingham. Today's AutoZone Tech Bag is brought to you by the more than 1,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, best parts in auto parts. Here's the technicality of the point championship right now. Jeff Gordon leads Earnhardt by 225 and needs to average at a 15th place finish in the last 3 events. That's all he needs to do, finish 15th or better in the last 3 races. For Earnhardt to catch Gordon, he needs to gain 69 points in every one of the last 3 events. And that is finishing more than a dozen positions ahead, or just about 10 to 12 positions ahead of Gordon, depending on where they finish. The first 7 spots drop back 5 points apiece, then it drops back 4 points apiece, and then 3 points apiece. Derek Copes made a couple of stops, and Hutt Strickland is coming back in. Glenn, what are they doing?
Well, Mike, they're just really checking over things right now after that encounter with the wall. They didn't really find any serious damage. The left rear quarter panel is the most seriously damaged. It is bent back and under. It's flared out a little bit. They're removing the left rear tire right now. They're going to try to work on the panels. In fact, they may try to replace them with cardboard. You see the box right there they're trying to tear a piece. That's to help keep exhaust fumes from getting inside the car. But other than that, they say the toe end's fine. It didn't bend the rear end. Really, they need for Hutt to run the car at speed for a couple of laps to find out exactly what it's doing. But they don't think he's in too bad a shape. Randy?
Well, Dale Earnhardt started 20th. He's currently 5th. Rusty Wallace started 18th, and he is deep in the pack. Before that caution, Rusty had lost a full straightaway to Earnhardt. It was so loose that he couldn't even drive it, so he needed that caution in a bad way. It was 4 tires around a wedge in, 2 pounds of air out of the right rear for Rusty. He is 31st on the grid. I mean, that car was junk when he started. Mike?
Thanks, Randy. Steve from California calls in. How come so many people not normally up front started up front today? Well, 3 things. Only 1 hour of practice before qualifying since Friday was rained out. Second, As was pointed out, only one lap of qualifying. And third, it was very cool when qualifying started, and it quickly got warmer. The drivers who ran very early up in the order, and they draw for the order of qualifying, ended up near the top. Getting set for the restart, 29 laps complete. Jeff Gordon, Ward Burton, Mark Martin in third, Dale Earnhardt fourth, Steve Grissom is fifth, Ricky Rudd sixth, Michael Waltrip seventh, Bobby Hamilton eighth, John Andretti ninth, Rick Mast fills out the top 10. Only 2 cars a lap down, Hut Strickland and Derek Cope. We're back under green. Single file restart.
Well, we're going to see who has the muscle early in the race here, because Ward Burton is really knocking on the back door of Jeff Gordon down the back straightaway.
They're going to overhaul Hut Strickland, who is 2 laps down. Dale Jarrett moving up from the back of the pack. Otherwise, we're pretty much single file for this restart.
Burton came into this race today with a little bit of a guessing game. The car was a bit loose going into the corners yesterday, so they changed a bunch of things, including the gear. And he said this morning he really wasn't too sure how it was going to work. I'd say they caught it right.
I'd say they did. Kenny Schrader's moved up a notch, and so is Sterling Marlin. They passed by Elton Sawyer.
Mike, you see one of the greatest, as far as I'm concerned, here at Rockingham, running in third place right now. We'll drop back in the field just a little bit, but I'm talking about Mark Martin. He's closing in on the leaders.
Having a great run as we watch from Bobby Hamilton's car. Here's your Napa Field standing update. Napa, we keep America running. We show you how they're running. Well, it's going to be trick-or-treat time. Here come the black cars. And there's Mark going under Ward Burton as Earnhardt makes the pass on Steve Grissom.
Now, you see Ward Burton do a very smart thing. You young drivers out there, Ward Burton could see that Mark Martin was a little bit quicker. He didn't fight him this early in the race. He just falls in behind him and tries to find out why he's running better than he is at the moment.
Now Earnhardt goes to the low side on the Bill Davis Pontiac. And makes the pass.
They're in 5th place right now. Steve Grissom, a great run today.
Had a solid run yesterday in the Busch Grand National race. That's Ricky Rudd, right side of your screen, the Tide Ford. Ricky's had some tremendous runs in the second half of the season, but pit stop maladies, I think, have kept him from victory lane. Dover, Charlotte, Wilkesboro.
Watch Ricky, though. He's looking for a good place where that car really gets everything out of it. And he's trying to hold the string together. He's won a race in the past, this is your past 12 years. He's won a race at least one time in Western Cup. He's wanting the string to go on at least another year.
Yeah, and he wants the money too, buddy, because there's one more spot left on that NASCAR Winner's Circle program, and he'd surely like to have that as the owner of the car. He pays the bills, and that's worth about $250,000.
Grissom gets underneath Ward Burton. Shakes the car just a bit. Here comes Ricky.
Yeah, Ward got a little sideways coming out of 2 there, and that's one part of the racetrack you don't want to fool with here. You can get in the wall real easy.
He was sideways all day yesterday in the Grand National race and held on to it. Doing a good job hanging onto the car here. He's obviously loose trying to run in the high side.
Yeah, Ward finished 4th yesterday just because the track wasn't 4 cars wide. Oh, he and Michael Waltrip exchange trick-or-treat grab bag gifts there.
Bobby Hamilton goes right on by. Ward's in trouble. He's hung out on that outside lane, and it's just not as fast right now.
Rick Mast moves underneath. Smoke from the number 18, the Interstate Batteries car of Bobby Labonte reported.
You know, Rick Mast told me yesterday, he says, you know, I had a great run here in the spring, and he says, or in February, or March, excuse me. He had a great run, and he says, I think my car is just as good, and he's proving it. He's moving right on up.
Len, what's the story on Bobby Labonte?
Well, Mike, I saw the car start smoking when he decelerated going into turn 1. Dale Jarrett was following at the time. It didn't seem to slow him down, but now he's really starting to drop back. We've been monitoring their radio conversations. They know the problem. It looks to be oil smoke. Bobby says the gauges are all okay. So if it's smoking that bad, it's got to be oil smoke. But it really pours out when he lets off to go down in the turn. So could be rings, something like that internally in the engine.
So we'll keep an eye on Labonte. 41 laps complete. Let's go back to the front, where Earnhardt has moved into 2nd and Mark Martin 3rd. Familiar faces rise to the front here in just a matter of less than 50 laps.
And Earnhardt, who started all the way back in 20th spot, in second by lap 40. By lap 30, he was in third. Hang on.
All right, let me ask you both. Do people move over for him?
I would.
Well, really, I mean,
Buddy?
when you start 20th and all of a sudden you're in front in 40 laps, is he that good? Is the car that good? Or is it a combination of things of people saying, well, geez, if he's going to go, I'm going to let him go?
Well, Mike, I'll answer that question when he catches the 24. He don't move over for him. He races him. And right now, Dale Earnhardt's doing what he can to try to win a championship. He wants those 5 points, so he's moving hard right now. And I think Mark Martin's the type of guy that says, listen, I don't need the 5 points, so I'm going to let him go. Although he is in a terrible run right now for I guess he's, what, third or fourth in the points right now, Mark Martin.
Fourth place with 8 points behind Sterling Marlin, with Terry Labonte fifth. Now here's Rusty Wallace and Ted Musgrave side by side. But you know, we've seen it in all forms of racing where there's been a dominant force over a number of years, like Rusty the last 2 seasons, like Earnhardt over the last 8. That wherever you folks watch the races locally, it'll be somebody. Where I spent a long time in New England, it was Richie Evans in the modifieds. And got my orange tie on to remember Richie, who we lost 10 years ago this weekend. But people would see Richie coming and saying, well, I know he's going to get by me, so I'm not going to race him so hard. And I wonder, do they do the same for Earnhardt here?
There's one that won't move for him either, Bill Elliott. He's getting this race team together right now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him move right up in the top 10 before too long.
Bill Elliott, and here, Bobby Hamilton getting past Michael Waltrip. Bobby Hamilton's having quite a run today.
That's the same car he ran in Dover. That's the concrete car, as they call it. And they said, you know, it runs so well there, they wanted to run it here, and it's doing pretty well here. It's a blacktop car also.
He's up to 7th place. Darrell Waltrip, meanwhile, qualified 8th. He has dropped to 38th. Last car on the lead lap, DW. There's Hamilton beginning to distance Michael Waltrip just a bit. Richard Petty said a couple of weeks ago,
man, it won't be long now. That's not fixing itself. It's getting quite a bit worse, and before long, NASCAR will black flag him. It's smoking enough going in the corner to create a problem.
And when it comes out the header pipes, that's usually not fixable.
There's the black flag. They have it on the flag stand as we speak. He's coming in the pits.
They won't need it. He's shut it off. Randy?
Yeah, you got it. He's going in the garage. They'll try and take a look at it, but that is usually terminal.
Yep. When it comes out the header pipe, there's not a lot to be done. So Bobby Labonte is out of the race at 48 laps. You're watching live Winston Cup racing from Rockingham, North Carolina on the Nashville Network. We'll be right back. Okay.
Hey, Mike. How about you, Mike?
Yeah, go ahead.
That may really hurt Bobby Labonte in the points. He wasn't that far ahead in 8th position.
Yeah,
thank you.
And there's a big dogfight behind him for the top 10, so that's really going to hurt him.
He could fall to 11th with a good day from those guys running.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I'll mention that.
And that gets him off the stage in New York.
Yeah, you're right. He may fall off. Yes, Pam. I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, he may fall off the stage. Boy, Glenn, suddenly I can't hear you guys.
They got them both open right now.
Oh.
Yeah, shut them back down now.
Glenn, you need to go back in the cafeteria and stay there so we can hear you.
With just one, that's better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was. They had them both open at the same time.
Much better.
Yeah. Oh,
man, look at this.
I understand that.
Jeff
and
Gordon.
Michael Waltrip is reporting very loose. Ward Burton reporting very tight.
Oh. Well, that's a difference.
That's why they're running right together on the racetrack.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to put the two together.
Well, we should go to you for that.
Jeff Gordon's calling period right now.
Okay. Yes, I got it. Billy Robb, I don't know if you heard me before. We had a call. Yeah, can't hear the announcers when the cars are in turn 1. Does that? Thank you. Yeah, and their number. We'll just feed them car noise. Oh gosh.
Today's exclusive coverage of the AC Delco 400 on TNN is brought to you by the more than 1,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
Texaco brings you the Winston Cup point standings this week. Haviland Formula 3 motor oil adds more life to your car. Take it to the star. The little bow ties there represent the drivers who will be up on stage at the Waldorf Astoria if they finish in those positions. Sterling Marlin in third, Mark Martin, Terry Labonte, Rusty Wallace, Ted Musgrave, and Bobby Labonte out of the race in 8. Michael Waltrip, Bobby Hamilton. You might be able to put a bow tie on Bill Elliott's name if he has a good run today. Labonte could drop out of the top 10. Back to Derek Cope. And the rest of the top 20 who all get invited to the banquet. The top 10 go up on stage. 2 Bodines, Schrader, Andretti, and Darrell Waltrip. Brett Bodine reporting a flat tire, or tire going down. They make a stop pit side as you watch Jeff Gordon, the leader and the point leader, take it off into turn number 1.
The car he's driving today, Mike, is called Blacker. It's the same car he used here in the spring to win. He won Dover with this car, Atlanta, the Southern 500. 4 wins in that one car.
What did you say the name of it was?
Blacker, B-L-A-C-K-E-R.
I call it gone right now. I tell you what, that thing's hauling it.
Yeah, he's flying. John Andretti looking good on the bottom side of Ward Burton there.
Yeah, Burton reported his car is tight, whereas most of the other drivers are reporting loose at this stage in the race.
Mike, what that means is when he goes in the corner, the front end starts skating and you can't get back in the throttle, so you have to wait until it makes a set and then get on the throttle, and it just slows you down. You see him losing ground to Joe Nemechek there, right in the center part of the corner. He can't get back to throttle.
And here's Michael Waltrip. Glenn, what's he reporting?
Well, Mike, he's reporting a real loose condition. Of course, he and Ward Burton have been having a heck of a race to stay in the top 10. Ward is reporting his car's real bad. It's real bad tight. So they're running right together on the racetrack. They're very close together. So one loose, one tight. I imagine if they switch positions, that Ward would say Michael's car was tight. Michael would say Ward's car's loose. He just, one's loose, one's tight, but they're still pretty fast.
Still up in the top 10.
And it's still pretty early in the race, too. We've got a lot of opportunity to adjust these cars in the pit stops that'll be upcoming. And each of these teams is well aware that there are only 3 races left of this season, including today. And Michael Waltrip's crew sure wants to put him on the stage at the Waldorf.
His older brother not having such a great day. Darrell has been lapped by Jeff Gordon. Randy Pemberton's in the garage with Bobby Labonte.
Well, he's certainly not thrilled to be here. Bobby, this could be a big points hit for you guys. Can you fix this thing?
I doubt it, really. It blew up really big. It was blowing up from the first lap, it seemed like, so it just was going to be a matter of time, and it was a short day for the Interstate Battery Chevrolet, but, who knows? Anything could happen to anybody else. We'll just have to wait to the end of the day to see how bad it hurts us in points, but it will hurt us.
I know you know how to get around here. You finished second. Who looked good out there early on to you?
I was too far back. I didn't know yet, but there's a few of them that are going to be good. And it's pretty sporadic right now. The racetrack's going to wore out, so everybody's going to be chasing it all day.
Debbie from New York called our 800 number, asked if teams can change engine during a race, how long it would take. I think when Darrell Waltrip was with the Gatorade team, they changed an engine in under 12 minutes. Might have been closer to 10. But because of the danger from hot parts and fluids, engine changes are no longer allowed. You lose your engine, you're going home.
Speaking of Darrell Waltrip, you could see his problem coming out of the corner there. The car was fishtailing coming off turn 2 there, so he has a loose condition on his car now.
Hut Strickland moving around Darrell. Hut is, of course, 2, make that 3 laps down.
I tell you, Rick Nascar, it wasn't anything to write home about just then. He was fighting that thing pretty hard getting through the middle part of the corner. He was dancing around just a bit.
Buddy, is this place worse than most other racetracks to try to fight a loose car with?
Well, the thing here is you have to be under control so much. Mike was down here in a driving school one time, and coming off turn 2 over there, if you relax 1 second, you're in the wall. So you really have to be precise coming out of the corner. Your line has to be direct, and you really have to be careful.
Couldn't relax. His dad Buck was up on the flag stand. He kept shaking that black flag at me. Looking up going, what does that mean?
Oh, Todd Bodine got a little squirrely, went upstairs a bit. He crashed one trying to practice. The 9 cars, Lake Speed, spun out in front of him. Todd had no choice. He slowed down just a tad. Dirty Irvin was right behind him, nailed him, and they wrecked that one.
Terry Labonte moves underneath Ward Burton, and Labonte will move up into the top 10.
You see Schrader coming up there, too. They said they were looking for a great run today. The car was fast in practice yesterday.
The traffic leaders in. Kyle Petty just ahead in the Great Pumpkin. Coors Light number 42.
He leaves tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. for a trip to Phoenix, Arizona on the back of a Harley Davidson. A whole bunch of them going to go. Wish I was going.
The way he's running right now, that's going to be an extremely long trip, because when you run 400 laps here and have problems with your car all day, he's coming in the pits as we speak. He must be having some more trouble.
So Kyle, once going a lap down, now decides to make this pit stop. And he'll get at least right side tires. Now Kenny Schrader moves underneath Ward Burton and puts the Budweiser Chevrolet up into the top 10. He's looking for his first win since 1991.
You know, that's very deceiving. When you talk about Kenny Schrader not winning a race in the past 4 or 5 years, let me tell you, that car has been in contention to win many, many times. And he's a great race car driver. It's just a matter of time. Everything's going to come together for him.
A lot of his problem has been DNS. He blew a motor at Talladega, crashed Atlantic, crashed Rockingham, lost an engine at Watkins Glen, got tipped over at Talladega, and on this year goes. And Ken Howes yesterday said, I just want this year to end. I just want it over. It's the year of the dog, the Chinese year of the dog. He said it sure is.
Well, thumb up, Kenny. He's a much better driver than his record this season indicates.
Here's a guy who's had a great record this season, the number 41, Ricky Craven. What a year he's had for his first year at Winston Cup.
And that's Morgan Shepherd in the 21 car bypassing him right now. He's in search of a ride for next year, so I imagine he's doing everything he can today to draw a little attention, because he's a fine race car driver. Even though he's 54, let me tell you, he's still got some good years left.
That battle is at 13th place. Shepherd finished third in this race a year ago, and Dale Jarrett moving in. Jarrett qualified back in 27. His Texaco teammate Ernie Irvin did not make the field. Remember, only one lap of qualifying after just 1 hour of practice. The drivers who did not qualify were Loy Allen, Norm Benning, Richard Brickhouse came back and tried to make the show. Jay Hedgecock, Dave Marcus failed to make the field. Alan Russell and Ernie Irvin. 71 laps are complete. Give us a call here at our TNN telecast if you have questions about today's race. Toll free, it's 1-800-451-7331. We'll be right back. You have the worst timing of anybody I know. I know.
Yeah.
Only the satellite people get to see this.
And look at Rick Mast at how well he is running.
Yep.
Yours?
No, you do it.
No,
you
go
do
ahead.
it. No, it's yours.
No.
I got all this, believe me. I haven't used 1% of it.
Well, I'm going to stick to the race. You guys give me all the statistics and no ice cream. You didn't say the King has no tan line today either.
Yeah, I heard that.
You know what, Gary?
No?
We ought to maybe have a shot of that set of skid marks going into the first turn wall. Be able to comment about that
during a caution.
Uh-oh, Mark Martin's in trouble.
No, he just coming in the pits. I think his tires have given up.
He's got something.
No, he just backed out.
Wow. Twice last year for sure.
Ooh. What? Interesting question.
You do that one.
I don't know if I better.
You do that one, Mike.
I don't know if I better.
Yeah, that's yours, Mike.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Dun, 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 dun. Tell us when we're coming back. Take me along. Oh boy.
In the wall. Turn 2, John Andretti.
Oh boy.
He's back
I
straight.
think he just scraped it.
The hood doesn't look straight in the car. He scraped it hard.
Two cars just scraped the wall in turns 1 and 2 in separate incidents. First, John Andretti climbed the hill.
Now, Mike, he did something very smart right here. You see the angle he keeps that car? He keeps control there. He does not try to jerk it away from the wall. If he had, he'd have spun the car.
Shortly thereafter, Brett Bodine got up and just nudged the wall at the same place.
Oh, hit it again.
Andretti has dropped from 10th to 15th in the last couple of laps.
And that's why it's not handling at the moment. I don't know whether it's real loose or what, but he's having to use up a lot of racetrack.
Jeff Gordon trying to lap Dick Trickle in the Ford Quality Care Thunderbird of Bud Moore. Looking low, Trickle trying to stay on the lead lap.
Trickle's not the easiest guy to put a lap down, by the way. You
Never
see
was.
Todd Bodine diving under Jeff Gordon there.
And Todd wants back on the lead lap.
I can't tell you what it feels like at this racetrack when the tires start giving up. Boy, that whole car, you just go, what has happened?
Well, Todd has been in for tires, so his tires are much fresher than Jeff Gordon's. He's now 3 laps down as a result. And here comes Lake Speed. So Gordon, all this infighting, has cut his lead to 3 seconds. Mark Martin had slowed just a little bit, but he's okay. Stays on track, continues to run in front of Dale Earnhardt. So now here's Sterling Marlin, third-place point man, pulling down on Andretti.
The one that's flying right now is Rick Mast. He's moved into second. He's dicing through here like a man on fire. I'll tell you, he's flying.
Remember, Mast finished third here in February and second last October, nearly won the race.
Yeah, and if the race had been a 400-lapper last October, he would have won the race because he was leading at that point.
Here's Rick Mast's progression up to second place. Now this team will go Pontiac next year. Richard Jackson's team.
Engines stay the same. The sheet metal changes. The chassis stay the same. Just the sheet metal.
No. It's a Ford now.
Oh, that's right. Everything changes.
Well, they could try to keep it the same.
No, they won't get away with it.
I don't think they get through
That's
inspection.
right. Everything changes. The whole thing.
Now, in fairness, Leo Jackson's car is a Chevrolet. Robert Presley drives that one. Just changes sheet metal.
You see Mark Martin and Earnhardt there. Mark got by him just a little while ago, but they're having trouble with. Well, you can see Jeff Gordon slowing right now. He's got a problem.
Glenn?
He's got a flat tire, guys. We saw him slowing down just a little bit. You saw Todd Bodine, also another car that hadn't been in, start going by him. So they're going to bring him on in. We're getting to that window that they expected the tire wear to bring him in anyway. They only expected to get about 50, maybe 60 laps early on a set of tires. Now, it's not necessarily that the tires are so bad, it's that the racetrack has cured and aged a lot quicker than anybody, particularly Goodyear, expected it to, and they built the tire to wear out quickly on the new surface so that it wouldn't blister. So therefore, the tires are wearing quicker than they thought. Here's Jeff Gordon right now. I'm sure that this will be right side and left side tires. Yes, it will be. They're going to go ahead and do all four. We'll get a look at the tires, see just exactly what they look out, but I got a feeling we're going to see a lot of other guys coming in here real soon.
Rick Mast takes over the lead as Ray Evernham's crew finishes up on the left side. Remember, only 2 air wrenches allowed now, so 20-second plus pit stops are going to be the order of the day. 21.8 under green. So Rick Mast comes to the front.
Boy, he's got to feel good. I mean, you talk about a bad year now. He has had one. He went to Daytona, went through 8 motors down there just during speed weeks. And right now, I mean, he's back where he belongs. He said he might win this race, and I believe he might.
All right, here comes Kyle Petty and Rusty Wallace underneath John Andretti. Boy, they carved a happy-looking face in that pumpkin. But so far, Kyle's had to make a green flag pit stop.
We have a spin in turn 4.
Bobby Hamilton lights it up. A car was stopped at the top of the racetrack, and everybody piles in. That's Mike Wallace.
Michael.
It is. It was Mike Wallace who was stopped in the smoke at the top of the racetrack. Bobby Hamilton and Dale Jarrett have piled into Wallace.
And the yellow car you can see there is Michael Waltrip. He's coming down pit road to heavy front end damage on that car.
And Kenny Schrader's luckless season continues. The front end of the Budweiser Chevrolet looks like a used up beer can, and Schrader takes it straight to the garage. I don't think Michael can get there.
Oh, look at that thing.
Give the stuff and head down to the pit.
Let's show you what happened.
Head to the pit.
Hamilton had just moved into fourth. There's the sliding car sideways.
He's right by himself, so I don't think there was any contact. But now the racetrack, you can't see when you're coming through the smoke here.
You can't see Mike Wallace up in that smoke at all. Here comes Michael Waltrip, and he T-bone drives right into the back of Mike Wallace, who had stopped. Jarrett gets into him. And Schrader got into the back of Michael Waltrip. Just a chain reaction.
I never saw who Kenny Schrader hit, but look at the nose of his car. He's all bashed in.
Schrader hit the back of Michael Waltrip after Waltrip ran into a stopped Mike Wallace.
And Terry Labonte got through the whole thing. Got through it all.
Mike, pit road's closed right now. The cars that are coming in were involved in the accident. They're going to lose more than a lap anyhow. But you see Dale Jarrett going down through there. He has heavy damage on the front also.
Another fellow who's had a star-crossed season. Now, Mike Wallace's car had stopped at the top of the racetrack, and he got whammed by Michael Waltrip, who then got run into by Ken Schrader. And in all of this, Jeff Gordon, who had made a pit stop under green, will go a lap down. You see Michael Waltrip walking away, taking off the helmet. He is okay, but he got it both ends.
Man, that's good to see because that's a lot of damage. When you hit that hard on the nose like that, a lot of times you'll injure your legs. I'm glad to see him walking away from that one.
So Gordon, there is a lap down. Bobby Hamilton staying aboard as they try to make repairs on the STP Pontiac. That was the car that spun and began things. Randy's caught Michael Waltrip.
Okay.
Randy?
Mike, man, can't catch a break, can you? What happened?
Oh, Bobby spun out and boiled his tires and, you know, smoked up the whole joint. I got slowed down and went up high, and evidently Mike Wallace was sitting there. I didn't see him, and whoever was following me didn't see me. Just got it from both ends. It's unfortunate, you know, the car was working pretty good. You know, hate it for Pennzoil and Pontiac and all our sponsors.
Okay, tough break, Mike. Better luck next week. Report was that the 43 car may have had a tire going down. That may have caused him to spin. Glenn?
Well, Randy, you know, I reported that Jeff Gordon said that he had a tire going down. Now, once they got in, changed all the tires, we're looking at them. They're all still up. It was not a tire going down. He thought he had a flat tire. Buddy, you made a comment early on when a car's really hooked up. We talked about that. Jeff said this. It may be too good. He took off like a blue streak. The car really felt good, but it was hooked up too good. It wore the tires out. It got extremely loose, and he was absolutely certain that he felt like he had a tire going down. Same thing happened to a lot of guys at Charlotte a couple of weeks ago. They came in, thought that the tires were down, found out that they were not. So Jeff Gordon, a lap down, tough break early on.
Well, it's a tough break, but if he had a tire going down and didn't stop, the results would have been disastrous. 90 laps are complete, and the complexion of this race has just changed dramatically. Okay. Back of Michael's car is hardly damaged. Kenny must have just dove right under it.
Boy, the nose is killed.
Yep. Yeah.
Man, Hamilton's car is hurt worse than he thinks, too.
Yep.
Hello,
Glenn.
Hey, let's look back to last fall. Isn't that when Rick Mast had that great run, finished second here?
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Oh,
yes.
you did? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
I wasn't listening.
I know. Glenn, go back to the cafeteria.
Wait a minute. Let me
We'll call you.
I'll be in the care center if you need me. I'm going to go rest.
Hey, Randy. A little sugar, please, in this coffee.
Dude just had a real bad set of tires, so he's trying to get it turned around for him.
What are we doing now? Open.
Yeah, and pass the cocktail sauce for the shrimp, will you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Could I have a coffee, please?
Yes, could I? Could
Coffee?
I? Yes.
Look at these tires.
Welcome back to Rockingham, where pit stops under caution are the order of the day, and well, we're down to 2 air wrenches in each pit, but still we have tires occasionally rolling across. A couple of pit stops there along pit road. Rick Mast came in first, got back out, as we are under caution for quite a crash here up in turns 3 and 4 when Bobby Hamilton got sideways and, as Mike Waltrip pointed out, smoked up the joint. Mike Wallace came to a halt. Mike Waltrip didn't see him, nor did Kenny Schrader. And Rusty Wallace got a little damage here from one of those rolling tires, Randy.
Well, no doubt about it. This is what these guys are talking about. Rolling tires. I saw several on pit road this time. Rusty popped one, sent it across the wall. The emergency crew just picked it up in the infield. Just a lot of wedge adjustments down here on pit road. Just a lot of action. It just seems in disarray. Billy Wilburn also caught his left hand in the change in the left front tire on Rusty's car. Just sort of a mess down here on pit road these last couple stops for just about everyone.
What's he signaling, buddy?
Rusty's got a tire rubbing there on the right front. He's going to have to come in and pull that away. It's rubbing the right front pretty bad.
What does a wheel and tire weigh?
Man, I tell you what, it takes a pretty good man to lift it. I can tell you that. I don't know exact poundage. I imagine Glenn would know. But
enough to dent a fender, that's for sure, and put it in against the tire. That's what happened to Rusty here.
This crew has been the most vocal about the change in pit road rules. They really don't like the two-gun rule. They'd like to go back to the way it was.
You see, Rusty's quit smoking now. I think what might have happened is it's just rubbing on that outer part of the tire, and it's rubbed it down now. It don't seem, oh, he's coming in, not just to be careful.
Right, why take a chance here? What a season Wallace has had. 2 wins this year. He's had 10 or more the last 2 seasons. Randy's there.
You can see Robin Pemberton pulling the right front fender out where Rusty popped that tire and sent it over. Rusty's one of those guys in particular that has not appreciated this pit road rule change, and they've struggled with it. One of the fastest sprint crews in the business for the last couple of years just hasn't been able to get it done, and that was proven. I guess the tire didn't make a difference. They hit someone else's tire to send it across pit road. So pulling the fender out, Rusty was back up to about 12th after really struggling early, but now he's going to start in the back of the pack again.
Right, Randy. He'll come out 23rd. He'll be the last car on the lead lap. Cindy called in from Canada. How are Rusty Kenny and Mike Wallace related? They are all brothers. We'll be right back to Rockingham, where 93 laps are complete. Okay.
How's that 4.5-hour window looking now? Not
Wide
too bad.
Open. Oh, Elmo. That's a self-conscious cam right there.
Boy, they hold Elmo's gas can out.
My God, what was that?
43 car. That thing's a mess.
Sounded funny.
Yeah.
Dale Jarrett lose a lap. He did, didn't he? He lost a lap on the racetrack before he ever got refired.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Hey, Glenn?
Yeah.
Glenn, you're up there where the good guys are pitting. Does it look like a mess when they're pitting, or is it just me?
Randy, looks like a mess from up here.
Yeah,
it
man,
looks like
these guys
total confusion.
It is.
Yeah.
Guys are catching their hands. Tires are flying over pit wall. It just didn't seem like that when they had that other air wrench.
I think it's all a concerted effort to get the other air wrench back.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Hi, King. Coming back, I'm going to see what? I'm sorry, what am I going to see coming back? Oh.
Is Jeff Gordon on the end of the tail end of the lead lap, or is he one down? Tail end of the lead lap. Okay. Is that how you have it? Tail end of the lead lap.
And the 29. 24 and 29, tail end of the lead lap. Did they not stop? Is that the deal?
They didn't stop this time.
Right. That's, okay. Got it. I'm gonna, yeah. Let me take a second from Elmo Cam.
Now you can go behind the scenes with Ernie Irvin in this exclusive video documenting his triumphant return to racing by ordering Miracles Happen, the Ernie Irvin comeback. Call 1-800-251-8888 to order now and receive your video after December 1st.
You're watching from Elmo Cam on the Pontiac Pace Car here at Rockingham, and Jeff Gordon is right behind the pace car. He is not the leader. There's one to go, so first let's go to his pit.
Well, Mike, right now, Ray Evernham is talking to Jeff on the radio, alerting him that there will be one lap to go. Ray, he thought he had a tire coming or going down. He came in, but not so. What was the problem?
Don't really know. You know, he might have got messing around with some of them cars there and got up in the loose stuff. Whatever it was, you know, he about spun out and called and just can't take a chance. So he had a flat. You know, unfortunately it wasn't. So we're, you know, we got 300 laps. We got to try and stay in here and try and bring everything home if we can.
Car was awfully fast. Was he running too fast for you at this point in the race?
Well, he's running as comfortable as he wants. You know, I don't think that was it. I really think he picked up something on the tires.
Okay, they're going to keep a watch on him, but I tell you what, that race car is awfully fast. I don't think he'll have a problem getting that lap back. We're ready to go green.
Rick Mast is the leader. Mark Martin is second. Dale Earnhardt is third. Ricky Rudd is fourth. Terry Labonte is fifth. Royal Ford with the green flag.
Mike, Jeff Gordon's got to go right now. He's on the tail end of the lead lap, and right behind him, everybody has fresh tires. He has to really get after it right now or go a lap down.
So is Steve Grissom, buddy.
Yep, or a caution flag. Either way. But those are the only two choices he has.
Also, Darrell Waltrip.
Darrell just got by Jeff Gordon. There goes Jeff losing some positions on the racetrack right now. I think he didn't change tires on that last stop, so he's on a little bit more used tires than the rest of them.
No, buddy, that's how he got to the tail end of the lead lap. Now, all the cars under caution pulled up behind the safety car. Then they all pitted. Gordon did not, so he ended up right behind the safety car on the tail end of the lead lap. He is now, again, gone one lap down. And right behind him come Mark Martin, who you're riding with, and Earnhardt.
But Gordon's tires are only 7 laps staler than the rest of them, so that shouldn't really matter.
Only 7 laps. Let me tell you, you can get the good out of these things a lot of times in 3 laps if you really lean on them. So he's got his work cut out for him right now.
Rick Mast riding behind 2 cars on the tail end of the lead lap as you watch Terry Labonte and Todd Bodine go at it. Bodine is not on the lead lap. He made a green flag pit stop earlier. And Elton Sawyer and the Hooters Ford have been overlapped. So that's Labonte in 5th, and right behind him Sterling Marlin in the Kodak car 6th.
I was just fixing to say, Sterling Marlin sitting in 3rd place in the point standings right now. Run great all year long, and he's kind of a forgotten man as far as talking about him a whole lot, but he runs very well.
Oh, Steve Grissom got into Darrell Waltrip as they tried to keep Rick Mast behind them, and now they have gone a lap down, both of them. And Grissom falls in line behind Darrell, who can't get to the bottom because Ricky Rudd is moving up. And that's Ricky Spotter telling, or rather Darrell Spotter telling him that Ricky Rudd is inside. They don't talk about drivers, they talk about car numbers. The spotters and gosh, I want to say Andy Hillenberg. Brad Knopfsinger is the spotter for Darrell, the voice you're hearing in the background.
Well, they kind of have to do car numbers. What are they going to say? Wallace is on the inside? Which one?
Yeah, right.
Wow, that was a wreck. It just didn't hit anything. Grissom got in there really hard and got into DW, and they went up the racetrack. I think right here they discussed how much friendship they had to each other. But they went on about their business. They're both pros.
There's Grissom now battling Robert Presley. As Terry Labonte in 5th place has moved past, and Sterling Marlin looks for some room.
Keep seeing Todd Bodine in that number 75 car. He is very much a beleaguered driver at the moment. His crew wants him to bring that car home in one piece. Both car owner and crew chief are very concerned about the number of crashes they've had, the number of cars they've had to fix.
Lap cars continuing to be in the midst of the battle here. Now there's Jeff Bodine working underneath Robert Presley. Bodine is the 9th place car. John Andretti there is still posted on the lead lap. He is 8th. Presley is 1 lap down. At the front of the pack, Rick Mast.
You see Jeff Gordon closing back in right now. He has Kyle Petty in between he and the leader right now. But it looks like after 4 or 5 laps, the tires are beginning to equal out here, and Jeff Gordon's on the move again.
.106 laps down. This race used to be 492 laps. This is the first year at the new distance.
Oh, there's a traffic jam for you. Brett Bodine in the number 11 car on the outside. He's won the Pit Crew Championship this year. Did it yesterday. Won 10 grand from Unical. The sponsor matched the 10 grand. They said that's what we need. Something good to happen.
A second ago we saw Shane Hall in the Kendall Pontiac at Dick Brooks We haven't seen him today, and that's probably a good thing for a driver starting his first Winston Cup race, that he doesn't get a lot of TV time doing the wrong thing. So he's an all-pro racer out of Simpsonville, South Carolina, and has had a stab or two at the Busch Series, and Dick Brooks had enough confidence to throw him in his Winston Cup car. They got in on a provisional, but he's giving a good account of himself. Hope you give us a call with your questions here at 800-451-7331. This is a free call. We'll be right back.
Kyle Petty's going to move him out of the way. Jeff's going to get his lap back here. Both of them are going to get a lap back in just a second.
Yeah, Kyle's 2 laps down.
Well,
but that's okay.
Even the more reason to put the heat on.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's a great shot right there.
You can tell he's moving, can't you?
Yeah.
How uniforms are flopping.
I have an 800 call that shot. Okay. That shot at some point will work real nice for one of our 800 numbers, 800 calls. I'll be careful with it. Okay. Yep. Okay, I'm not saying come back on this, but at some point I can use this for an 800 call.
Come on, Jeff. Boy, they're fighting it out. Look at Ricky. Ricky's going back and forth.
I don't want to be right there,
Who
Rudd.
to follow? Who to follow?
And look at 5th and 6th right with him.
Yep.
That's a great race.
Sterling's come from last. I mean, he was way back.
Yep. Started 28.
But you know, really in a race, we never give him.
No, you're right.
He's up there. We need to.
Leader.
There we go.
Welcome back to Rockingham as you ride with Mark Martin. He's got his hands full with Dale Earnhardt, who has just passed Mark. Ricky Rudd, Terry Labonte, and Sterling Marlin all in hot pursuit. Doug from North Carolina called, asked about Mark's helmet. He says, does NASCAR require certain types of helmets? Some are full face, some are open face.
No, it's not a requirement, but it should be. That's the type of helmet. If you're starting out in racing, get as much protection as you can. Use a full face helmet.
Jeff Gordon gets his lap back from Rick Mass. So did Kyle Petty get one of his 2 laps back. Jeff Bodine brought the full-faced helmet to Winston Cup racing several years ago. A lot of drivers like it. Some aren't quite used to it. Kind of like hockey players adopting helmets. You kind of go with what you're familiar with, but a lot of drivers have made the change.
You know, I talked to Bill Simpson about these helmet designs and all those. Even the shield is as strong as the helmet itself. So anytime you can cover your face and keep it from getting hit, it's got to be better.
The rest of it, of course, is that the helmets now are the principal cooling for the drivers, which they don't really need all that much right now. We've got a decent day today. It's not hot, but that's how they keep cool, is the air circulating through the helmets. Strickle having a good run today in the 15.
Yep, that's Strickland. There underneath Lake Speed. And Sterling Marlin's taking the spot from Terry Labonte. Moves Sterling up into the top 5.
Well, that car is hooked up. You can see him squirt out there some 3 car lengths just getting off the corner there. So he's hooked up down the straightaway. That thing is flying.
Sterling's got 3 wins, a 2nd, and a pile of 4th place finishes this year.
And one of the wins was in that car. He won Darlington in that automobile. 25% of his career wins in that car.
In that one race car?
Sure, big place. Won 4. Yeah. One race with that car. That's 25%.
Mike, I like this guy. 25%.
Have you considered sales as a second career? Here's your Napa Field standing update. Napa, we keep America running. Here's where they're running. 118 laps.
I've waited 3 days to do that, Peter.
Thanks. Would you wait 3 more? It's tough enough up here.
You know, Earnhardt right now, he's not the best race car out there by a long shot. I think they're working on the chassis every stop, but right now you see Ricky Rudd really closing in on him. And, Usually if Earnhardt has the car, he goes to the front, but right now he's real content. You see Ricky getting by him, coming up out of the corner there, making it side by side.
So Ricky Rudd moves underneath Earnhardt. That'll put Rudd and the tied Ford into third, and Sterling Marlin moves up into fourth.
Ward Burton comes along.
Into fifth. And it's bye-bye black car.
Well, we'll see for how long.
For now.
Yeah. Bobby Hutchins this morning said that the black car, whoa, he just slid up some.
You can see the chassis on that car giving up. He's starting to push out in the middle part of the corner. Whether it be loose or pushing the front end, I don't know, but he's not able to turn the car right.
Just can't keep it down.
Terry Labonte moves up into sixth place now. Well, Gordon is back on the lead lap should the caution come out.
Mike, all he's got to do right now is wait on a caution, not be too aggressive and use his tires up, because if he tries to unlap himself on the green, he's going to have a hard time getting back up there to try to take the lead. So wait on the caution, move you all the way back around and put you back into contention.
Ward Burton just picking up a spot there.
We have a lot of 800 calls about the point system. We don't have time to explain it all. But basically, it's 175 points to win, and it drops down 5 points per position for the next 6 spots. So 170 for second, 165 for third, as you watch Rusty Wallace move underneath Ricky Craven. There are 2 kinds of bonus points. Every driver who leads the race gets 5 bonus points, and the one driver who leads the most laps gets another 5 bonus points. So the most you could get today is 185.
Watching Rusty Wallace there, his car seems to be working quite well after they pull the fender out. He knocked the right front and back in on the tire a while ago, but now it seems to be running quite well.
Rusty restarted 21st. He's up to 13th. John Andretti, the Kmart Little Caesars car, the Michael Krenifus Carl Haas machine, underneath Dale Earnhardt, picks up a spot, 7th place.
Not a happy camper right there in the 3 car. You see him up 1 full lane higher and he wants to run. Nothing you can do when the chassis gives up on you.
Todd Bodine 2 laps down in the factory stores Ford of Butch Mock.
Whoa!
Oh. Well, I could say he's trying to loosen it up a little bit, but I think his problem is loose condition. We'll know a little while later when we talk to Childress, but right now the car is not able to stay on the racetrack like he wants it.
But is there anybody in big league stock car racing who can do a better job with a car that's not right than Earnhardt, and to keep it in one piece and bring it back to the pits again so they can adjust it?
There was one. Tim Richards could run one looking out the right window. I mean, he was a master at getting a car out of control.
Well, let's go to Earnhardt's pit. Glenn, what's the problem?
Well, Mike, they're discussing what the problem is. They made an adjustment last time, and Earnhardt and crew chief Andy Petrie talking back and forth. Andy said, well, maybe we went the wrong way. Dale says he just can't drive the car any faster than what he's doing right now. And when the car's off a little bit, it wears those tires out quicker. We got a real hot, sunny day here. That's got to add to the tire wear problems a little bit, too. They're going to wear out a little quicker because they build up and hold heat a little quicker. But they're discussing exactly what to do with it. You can bet they're going to make some changes when they come back in next time. Right now, they're scratching their heads a little bit, though.
Next year, Andy Petrie will leave that team, and owner Richard Childress has announced that David Smith will run the team on race weekends. Bobby Hutchins will run the shop, and they will not name a crew chief as such, but that's how they'll divide those responsibilities. 127 laps complete. Rick Maz continues to lead. Of course.
How's it going in the booth, guys? Sounding good.
Thank you.
Oh, you guys are sounding good.
Has Jeff said anything about Kyle holding him up?
No, I haven't said anything. We're monitoring him most all the time.
He's getting ready to go under or going into 1 right now.
Yeah, he's cut him off a couple of times. I don't know how long that's going to last. As we speak, it's no longer a problem.
Well, you hear will be me in the bathroom.
Look at that right front or left front there when he stands on the right front.
Right front.
I think you're right, too, buddy, on that 2 car. I believe maybe the 24's got some clean track now, but other than the 24, the 2 car is probably the fastest thing out there.
we could do some pan backs. We really haven't seen much of Rick Mast lately, and he is leading.
Boy, look at that thing, how much is traveling there.
A lot of suspension travel,
4
isn't it,
inches
buddy?
at least.
Yep. It's like dirt track stuff.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, when he lays on that brake, you can see the firefly, too.
Okay. Then if we could do a little pan backs. Thank you.
You can see that shock come all the way down.
Welcome back to Rockingham, 132 laps. Mike Joy with Buddy Baker and Dick Berggren. Glenn Jarrett and Randy Pemberton on pit road. Rick Mast is your race leader. Jeff Gordon just in front on the tail end of the lead lap as Bobby Hamilton laps past Shane Hall. Now here comes Hamilton down the front straightaway. And we'll get a look in turn one. On the brakes hard. That's that red heat. You see the brake disc glowing. And the brake ducts feeding it cool air. Suspension cam at work.
Mike, you can see the tube there going back into the brake. That's the cooling tube, and you can also see the shock when it goes down there, shock working. And then one little thing that would bother me if I was a driver and I knew all that heat was being, watch when he touches the brake going in the corner, the fire just flies off the brake. Look at that. I think I'd slow down if I really knew all that was happening every time I touch the brake.
The new carbon metallic pads that they use on these cars generate a tremendous amount of heat.
Boy, they're great, though. I mean, they actually, you wouldn't believe how well they work.
Both Performance Friction and Ray Bestis offering pads to the Winston Cup racers, and would really improve the stopping power of these cars.
And they don't fade. By and large, they don't fade, and that's really important. That means at the end of the race, everybody's still got pretty much as much brake as they had at the beginning, and it didn't used to be that way. You never drove without brakes, did you, buddy?
Yeah, a few times. I was just looking. That right front is moving at least 4 inches of travel there. I mean, that thing is really sprung soft going around this racetrack. You see Bobby Hamilton, that's the car we have this on, and it don't look like it's moving that much going in this corner, but you can see there's a tremendous amount of movement of the shock and spring going through the corner.
The other thing is that with the recirculating calipers, where they recirculate the fluid, you don't have the brake fluid boil like you used to at many of the racetracks, and lose your brake effectiveness that way.
That's right.
You can see he just moved over and let Earnhardt go there. He's nursing a pretty sick car around there. It's been in a wreck already and took a lot of damage to the right front corner.
Next car back is Rusty Wallace up to 9th place.
I think Rusty's going to be heard from. I think he may be one of the fastest cars on the racetrack right now. He's been run down Earnhardt. You see how fast he's catching him. It'll just be a matter of time now.
And he's got something to prove this weekend as well. He's lost several key members of his team. He's come on to Rockingham and said, we're all smiling here. We're going to be okay. They've elevated a lot of people internally to fill those positions, and he really wants to show he can do it with the men he has left in the team.
Yeah, it's a different kind of a rating that goes on. Instead of robbing the bank, Felix Sabates brought the bank up to Penske Racing and robbed a couple of key crewmen to come over to Sabco Racing.
Yeah, and it hasn't just been him either. They have lost people to other teams as well, Mike. Todd Parrott has gone to the Yates organization. Ronnie Phillips has left. Nick O'Lilla has left to the 37. Dennis Beaver to Hill, and I mean, he's lost a bunch of people.
But still gets the job done.
Still has Robin Pemberton working for him, too. That's very key.
And Don Miller and Roger Penske, and together they will overcome.
Robert Presley makes a pit stop under green. Rookie contender. And Terry Labonte underneath Brett Bodine. Here comes Darrell Waltrip battling back. And at the front, Rick Mast.
I believe Rick Mast right now is a little quicker than Jeff Gordon. Jeff's trying to stay in the lead lap, but boy, he's going to have to really drive a smooth corner right now because you can see Rick is closed in on him. That's got to be a great feeling to come back to a racetrack that you run so well on just months back, and now to put a race together like this, he has to feel like, I speak Rockingham, you know what I mean?
And as the graphic shows, Rick Mast, without a top 5 finish this year, 2 8th place runs at Indianapolis and in the spring at North Wilkesboro, his best, but he knows that car will run here. Now see Rick Mast in the Skoll Ford. Let's look back and find the second-place car of Mark Martin. And you see that Mast has a sizable advantage, and Mark Martin's all by himself in second.
Well, I think Mark right now is kind of controlling his tire wear and everything, and he's not abusing his car at all.
He is 4.5 seconds back, and it's about another 3 seconds back to Ward Burton, Sterling Marlin, and Ricky Rudd. We'll be right back with you live on the Nashville Network. Think I should do that one? Maybe next week.
No, nothing.
Maybe next
nothing. We got a little conversation up here. You guys don't need to hear.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah. Here comes Rick Mast as we speak. Looking right, looking left. Will he make it? He's not going to make it.
Not this lap.
Not this lap. What other things have you got? Look at this dictionary this man brought up here to read off of. Wow.
For your copy of Encyclopedia Bergrenia, call
pitting.
1-800 Dr. Dick.
I just hope some of it's right.
No, that's somebody else's line.
Yeah.
Yo, Rick almost caused one on Shane Hall. Greg, how about, I'll give you this one.
Shane said all he wanted was time on the racetrack. He didn't want to race
good.
or fight with anybody.
That's smart.
You know?
It's real smart.
Does that help you?
Do that.
Can you do anything with that? No rush.
Oh, we have, look, Hamilton hit the wall in turn 3.
Yes, he did.
Did y'all have that?
And he's gonna make it.
Yeah.
Bad moment for the Petties. You're riding with Bobby Hamilton in Richard Petty's car. He has just cracked the wall up between turns 3 and 4. And just ahead of him, Kyle Petty is on pit road. Here's Randy.
Well, the 43 team certainly have had their problems today. The car cannot be handling aerodynamically as screwed up as that body is. There's no way this thing could be pushed down to the racing surface. Kyle Petty down and away. His tires gave up after driving it real hard, trying to stay back on the lead lap. 43 still in the pits, trying to fix some of the sheet metal damage. They're on the left side now. Not going to be a good day for Bobby Hamilton.
Yeah, and Randy, the front valence is broken on Bobby Hamilton's car. They're going to have to pop rivet and tape that back together to get him back out. This could be a long stop. Tough break.
I'll tell you what, he's lucky to have anything to work on as hard as he hit in 3 over there. He went straight up and hit on the right front corner. I would imagine it had to hurt the suspension on that car quite a bit.
Well, it's not funny, but that's their concrete car, and already twice today.
No, you didn't say that.
It's in the concrete. All right. Kenny Schrader is coming back on the speedway and with a lot of damage to the Budweiser Chevy. But he is coming back out. Schrader comes into this race 17th in the point standings.
Dale Jarrett comes on the pit road. As they said, all these guys are hollering right now. They need a pit stop pretty quick.
And still, Rick Mast runs right in the tire tracks of Jeff Gordon.
And I don't think Jeff can get away from him. I mean, I think that's what you see is what you get right now. Both those cars are very evenly matched.
Talking about raiding crew members, Ray Evernham says indeed there have been people who have tried to raid his team, and so far nobody has gone, and some of them have offered a lot more money, but he has stuck there. Look at this. Look at this. Gordon may go down a lap after all.
Well, they'll be cheering for this one down in the Earnhardt camp.
Yep.
Rick Mast puts Jeff Gordon a lap down. Let's check with Glenn.
Well, what that did, guys, they were staying out as long as they could stay ahead. Ray Evernham just signaling crew, get ready, we're bringing him in. Now remember, he cut that tire, or thought he had a cut tire, and came in on lap 85. They're on lap 152 now. That's a lot of laps on these tires. 60, 65 laps, all they expected. So his tires are gone. They're going to bring him in, I think, on the next lap. They're ready to go right now.
Thanks, Glenn. Let's show you what happened to Bobby Hamilton that forced his unscheduled pit stop.
Oh, man. And you could see he had already slowed that.
Gordon taken out.
He got hit right in the back.
slowing down, trying to make a pit stop. Got tagged in the back end.
Greg Sachs turned him around.
He's going to come on around. He was headed for the pits and got tagged in the back end. He's going back around. The yellow is out.
Very quick with the caution. So Gordon is at least one lap down, and the Earnhardt fans love it, but Gordon was coming to pit road, and perhaps Greg Sachs underestimated or overestimated Gordon's speed at that point on the racetrack.
Jeff's got something dragging on the right front of that car, I think. It looks like the right front corner may be down just a little bit there. Right front tire is flat. I could see it wobbling as he started in there.
Yeah, I don't think Greg Sachs realized that Gordon intended to slow and come into the pits.
See the roof flaps go up, around.
He was trying to get by him on the right side, and just not enough room. Tagged him in the rear end, sent him around.
Boy, oh boy.
Well, this changes things, doesn't it?
And the screws turn a little tighter.
Yep, they sure do.
Caution at lap 156. Fourth caution of the day. And the leaders will come to pit road.
Mike, what Jeff has to hope for is that tire does not come apart and start beating the inner panels and stuff out of that car. It can really mess it up.
Rick Mast already in for service. Randy is there.
Well, the Kevin Hamlin-led crew doing a good job so far. They're on the right side. Rick said car feels just a little bit tight, but don't touch it. So they're not going to make any chassis adjustments. They're on the left side. Nice smooth pit stop going for the Skoll team. Glenn?
We're down in Mark Martin's pit. There's a 4-tire change down here as well. Randy, I don't see any adjustments being made. They did make a slight air pressure adjustment, not much to speak of. Jeff Gordon now pulls in. Gordon and Martin pulls away with 4 tires. Jeff Gordon has come in. They will also do 4 tires here. They're on the left side first, because that's one that was the side that was damaged. So they're going to send him out and bring him back in. Back position doesn't mean a thing to him now.
And finally, under this caution, the STP team taking the time to repair the front end of Bobby Hamilton's car. There you see the left rear. They've got that taped up, and there you see the right front. Nascar Winston Cup official overlooking the repairs. So now the cars 1 or more laps down will pit, and we'll take a pause from Rockingham. We'll be right back with you live on TNN. All he has to do is start at the end of the longest line, right? It's not a lap penalty. Right. Right. But see, if you do that, don't you have to stop at the end of the longest line, start at the end of the longest line, which he would have to anyway.
That's the way it is. I thought that was the penalty. So they make you go around the next lap. Be able to start up front. He's got to go back.
He's got to start at the end of the longest line, right?
Right. But I don't think he gets penalized a lap for stopping with the leaders.
No.
And he was going to be at the end of the line anyway.
Let's get Brad over here. We can show this tire where it flat spot.
What did Glenn say they did to the 3-car? They need to work on that thing.
Okay. Thanks. And Julio's the fearless piece. Glenn?
They must have changed
That's
that
Glenn.
rule, because I got penalized one time because I was a lap down and come in like that.
Yep.
And I went back up. I guess I went back up and made up my lap, and they brought me right back in. Say, right you are, Mr.
Yeah, you made it
Mr.
up.
Mr. Peepee Man.
We're going to take it away.
Mm-hmm. And there you have it.
Oh, coffee, lady. Please.
Cafe.
Cafe.
Little sugar.
And
little
hello
cream.
to all of the satellite fans.
Ooh.
Ooh, the King.
King says. And like
Thank
Grand.
you. Do you have any milk or cream or anything? Do you have anything to put in it?
Why'd you take yours black?
No.
Or
Cream. Thanks.
Just cream?
Welcome back to Rockingham. We'll go back racing in one lap. Wonder how that couple gets along. One cheers for Gordon, one cheers for Earnhardt. Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, this smoking beauty right here is the right rear tire on Jeff Gordon's car. This is the, of course, you see the outer liner all torn up. The inner liner is still up, though, so that's who was able to keep running around. It didn't shred too bad to do any damage to the car, like Buddy said. There was also a tire down on the left side. Jeff came in twice. They were afraid they might have to repair some damage. Like I said earlier, track position was not a problem. He went ahead and came in with the lead lap cars, which the only penalty for that is he would have to restart at the end of the longest line. Well, he was coming back in, going to have to do that anyway, so pretty good strategy on him. We're getting ready to go green.
And he will restart almost a quarter lap behind the leaders.
Mike, look who's leading the race right now, Sterling Marlin.
And look who's in trouble, Rick Mast. Mast's car did not come up to speed. He's caught way up on the outside. There he is. Lost a lot of ground on the restart.
Boy, when you let one load up like that and you take off and it won't go, that's so aggravating.
Might have missed a gear. Or had the engine load up. But he's up to speed right now. Sterling Marlin brings them around. That's Bobby Hillen right behind. Hillen is 2 laps down. And the Jasper Engines car. And Ward Burton clearing traffic in 3rd place. Mast running with Dale Earnhardt there, Rusty Wallace, and Jeff Bodine.
Look at Rusty's car, how well he gets in the corner there. He was much faster than Earnhardt on the approach to turn 3 just then.
Traffic all packed up. It's a really tense part of the race, buddy, on these restarts, and it packed.
I've always said the restarts are much more dangerous than the regular race itself because everybody is double file and you have cars that are quite a bit slower than some of the cars that, you know, are passing them. And you can misjudge just a little bit and trigger a big old wreck.
See Rusty Wallace there in the 2 car. Want to be sure and be with us next week for the Phoenix race. He says he's got an absolutely killer setup for Phoenix.
The report from Rick Mast's team, he did miss a shift on the restart. Car didn't grab 4th gear, and you lose a little bit of momentum here, and it can cost you a lot. Just ask Mike Wallace or Johnny Benson from yesterday's Busch race.
Well, when you miss the shift, a lot of things happen. That can create a problem, just as Jeff Gordon in Pocono. You know, he missed the shift right near the end of the race here and had valve trouble later on in the race. So,
Lake Speed into Shane Hall.
Easy, Shane.
They sorted out. Lake came up into the 40 car, and now Gary Bradbury right there in the midst of 2 drivers there starting their first Winston Cup race at Rockingham.
You can see who had to go through that. That's Jeff Gordon right in the middle of that thing. He went to the bottom part of the racetrack and was able to avoid that accident.
Just what you said about restarts. Tense time. We've had 3 of them today.
Gary Bradbury in that 31 just keeps soldiering on, and what a good race he's having today. He was 2nd in the ARCA race at Daytona this year and haven't heard much from him since, at least until today. Oh, I bet he's got a lot of resumes ready for the car owners in the Winston Cup garage.
He'd like to be here next year.
Yep.
At the end of this line is Brett Bodine. I talked to him last night a little bit, and he says that he's made an offer to buy this team from Junior. But if Junior decides not to sell, he'll drive for Junior again in this car next year.
There's the Lowe's Ford. 2nd and 3rd. Excuse me, that's
Rusty's got by there.
8th and 9th. Car 2 and car 3.
Well, that's the one thing about Rusty. He was so off a while ago. We made a report that he had dropped way back in the 31st spot. Now he's moving up. You see the car is able to stay right on the bottom of the racetrack, and he's coming through.
All right, here's 2nd and 3rd. Ward Burton. Mark Martin underneath. Makes the pass at turn 2. You got to admire Ward Burton. He's, I think he's cut from the Bobby Labonte mode. I'm going to race you when I can race you, and when I'm not, you go do your thing, and we'll get better and come back to you. And that's kind of what Ward Burton did right there. Now here's Rick Mast battling back against Terry Labonte for 4th place.
Boy, that car is so good. Look at him go in the corner. He pulled 2 car lengths on a very good race car, Terry Labonte, before they even come off the corner there. He's 2 cars ahead.
Rick Mast nearly won this race last year, finished 2nd. On the point, Sterling Marlin in the Tim Morgan and McClure Brothers zone. Tony Glover wrenched and Rut Pittman powered Kodak Chevrolet.
Thank you very much. They
Anytime.
said the other night, they leaned out and they said, why don't y'all talk about us?
Well,
and I said, we do,
that's okay.
man.
No, that's okay. That's fine. That's a fine.
We got to talk about him quick because Mark
Yeah,
gaining
it's gonna
like
eat him up.
crazy.
Yeah. Am I doing okay with you two
Oh,
guys?
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
stepping on you.
No,
doing
no.
Too much that's stupid anyway.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I like it myself. I think it's good.
Yeah.
Except for truck lady yelling when I'm in the middle of a conversation.
I'm sorry, Pam, say again. Oh, yeah. Okay. 393 laps.
Man, Shane
Somebody,
Hall.
anybody?
Shane Hall just created a wreck almost.
It just didn't happen.
He's in the way.
393 laps?
Yes.
Thank you. That's
Bobby Hillen, don't mess with him. Look at Rick Mass come up through there. Man.
Yeah.
I think he loaded the motor up and didn't want to tell him. Because if he'd have missed the shift, he'd have had motor trouble by now.
Yeah.
Because it turned 14 million when you missed it. You don't ever want them to know that you sat around there and forgot to clean it out.
You're right.
Pushing
Thank
and
you.
loose.
31 is out. That's too bad.
How would you fix that, Joel? Exactly.
Well, that's...
Put 2 rounds in and call me Monday.
Yeah. Take a pound out of the right front and call me on Monday.
That's it.
Today's exclusive coverage of the AC Delco 400 on TNN is brought to you by the more than 1,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And RC.
Ricky Rudd here leading Dale Earnhardt. This is the battle for 6th place. Count Rudd among the contenders today, seeking to extend his streak of winning seasons to 13. Not the longest streak in Winston Cup racing, but one of the longest.
I was just looking at Earnhardt's car. They've made some improvement on it. It seems to be running quite a bit faster than it was just before the caution flag. So I think he may be dialing that baby in. They do that. They can work on that thing, and they have such great communications that they really know how to fix the car.
Report is Jeff Bodine is off the pace in the Exide Batteries Ford. He was running in 10th position. And Gary Bradbury has taken the A.G. Dillard car. We're told to the garage area engine trouble has ended Bradbury's fine run today. Down to the inside comes John Andretti on Terry Labonte. This is for 8th place.
Terry Labonte's struggling. He's not able to keep his car down on that inside line, and you see John Andretti just overhauling him going down into turn 1.
The car gets more purple every week. Haven't they changed the color of that about 8 times this year?
You ever notice when it's running good how much better it looks?
Yes, it does. Kmart Little Caesars machine. Terry Labonte, well, you got dinner and breakfast running 8 and 9 right there.
Man, see what I have to put up with. Oh, my.
Tell me you hate it.
No.
All right.
Terry Labonte had a great run yesterday in the Grand National race until he got tangled up in a crash in the backstretch. And it was an amazing-looking car when it finished. The 4 wheels were sort of in line, but everything else was bent, pushed around, and missing. Didn't look like a car. It looked more like a shopping cart for a grocery store.
Now here's Dale Earnhardt in 7th place. He's lost a lot of ground now to Ricky Rudd, and Glenn can update us on the pit stops, changes they made on Earnhardt's car.
Well, you guys know that Earnhardt usually likes the race car to be a little loose. Therefore, he'll run good at the beginning of the run and maybe slack off a little at the end. He was reporting then that the car was way too loose for even him. So they had to work on tightening the car up, and they told him to take it just a little easier in the earlier part of the run, trying to take care of the tires. So Dale's just kind of biding his own time right now. Crew Chief Andy Petrie did tell me that Dale said the car did feel better. So I think as we get deeper into this run, we'll see Earnhardt move back toward the front.
Thanks, Glenn. He's 6 seconds behind the leader, Sterling Marlin, who has Mark Martin in tow. This is the 11th race that Marlin has led this year, but only the 3rd time in the last 10 races. In those his last 10. Sterling's had only one top 5 finish. That came at Michigan.
Well, I tell you what, Sterling's car is beginning to dance out of that bottom, and you know how Mark Martin is. He'll nail it right down on that white line and gain a lot of ground on you in the corners.
And one of the advantages that Mark has is that he ran that Grand National race yesterday, did extremely well. Same tires there as here, and incredibly, during the running of that race, he radioed to Steve Meal, his crew chief, and said, would you go to the Winston Cup car and change the right rear spring on it? I think I found something. During the running of the race.
Hard to imagine you can run 160 miles an hour around here and start thinking about tomorrow's race and make substantive changes.
Steve says he talks all the time.
Yeah,
like that.
he does.
Yeah, look at this.
He's entertaining to listen to on the scanner, and he's going for the lead.
Well, he's already taken the lead. Sterling just moved over and let him go. Sterling will try to follow in his tracks right now to find out what he's doing, where he's backing off, his weak points and his strong points.
And look at third place Rick Mast. He is back there.
He won't be back there very long. I tell you what, he's come from almost half a straightaway back and run these guys down. That car's hooked up.
I didn't mean back there. I meant back there in the hunt for the lead. He has come right to them once again.
Oh, this is nice. Look at this. We got all three of them, one right after the other, right on top of each other.
Well,
Marlin coming back.
Mark's
Mark, is he in trouble?
He does that all the time, though. He knows what he wants to run. You watch him, he'll keep on coming.
Well, he got his 5 points for leading the race.
Well, he got his 5 points, and he also does not want to abuse the tires right at this point.
See, Martin is 4th in the point standings. He's only 8 behind Sterling. So if Sterling leads and gets 5 bonus points, Mark needs 5 bonus points, and he got them.
First thing you have to know is how to win, and that's a move of how to win there. Save your tires, save your car. When it really counts, use it up.
6 different drivers have led today. Mark is the 6th. And Sterling Marlin goes back in front.
Momentarily.
Michelle called from Connecticut, wanted to know the fewest number of cars on the lead lap in a race this year. 3 at Charlotte in May. Bobby and Terry Labonte and Michael Waltrip. Everybody else was a lap down. Greg Field, our historian, coming in for that. Michael Waltrip, you see, back in the race. And I had a number transposed. Gary Bradbury is still in the race. It was not 31. The 32 car, Greg Sachs, is going to the garage with him. Bradbury's still out there. And somebody's lost a motor. Is that Kyle? Boy, it came past here, sounding like it was running on 3 cylinders. And so off the pace.
Elton Sawyer slowed way down there. Cars are going by him on the bottom side there. He's trying to get to the inside, but he's really slowed down.
Terry Labonte is also a little bit off in that same pack as they come by here. I think the car that sounds awful is Kyle Petty.
Good race here for 6th spot.
Good race up front.
A real good race up front. A real good race.
You see,
watch this.
Rick Mast is going to the bottom now. He's just going on. Watch him go in this corner. Now, you talk about a car handling. Look at that thing.
Wow.
Like he's on a string.
I wonder if he's let himself think that today could be the day that he wins his first ever Winston Cup race.
Well, he sure thought that here a year ago.
Yeah.
Darrell Waltrip not on the lead lap, but fighting Ward Burton for position as Rusty Wallace takes over 4th place. Ward Burton in 5th, the number 22 car. At the front of the pack, Rick Mast is beginning to put some distance on Sterling Marlin. Mark Martin in 3rd, Ward Burton and Rusty Wallace battle for 4th. Yep.
Earnhardt is on the move.
Yep.
Whatever he's done. Glenn has a good call on the 3 car because he is hauling it now.
I'm checking on the 5 car here just a second.
Thank you.
Earnhardt had to wear a little rubber off so it could get loose enough for him.
Yeah.
Whatever, he's hauling it.
Dale Jarrett, just to let you guys know, they checked the toe in on it. It's not a towing problem. They believe they think a right front ball joint, or the ball joint bent on it. So he's pretty much in trouble. 3 down anyway.
I think that's 2 sick cars we're watching.
Yeah.
Elton Sawyer cannot get it. He can't even get out of the way. Something just come out of Kyle's car there on the front straightaway.
Probably a piston or something.
Yeah, connecting rod.
Yeah, Elton is pitting.
been absolutely junk after.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Kyle said he wants 3 rounds of wedge. That was prior to whatever fell off his phone.
Kyle's in.
I believe Rusty's running them down. Is there any times on that, Greg?
Interval back to...
Is Rusty catching the leader, or is that just the way it looks? There he goes.
halfway. Give us a call here at TNN if you have a question as this race goes on. We'll try to get it answered for you. Our toll-free number, 1-800-451-7331. Elton Sawyer and Kyle Petty make pit stops under the green. You watch Ricky Rudd in 6th place. Dale Earnhardt just ahead of him. And Ward Burton just behind. There's Burton and Pontiac. And just ahead of Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace appears to be gaining ground on the 3 leader. And there you watch him get 6th and 7th place. Stephen from Canada called in to see if Dodge is going to get back into Winston Cup racing since they've announced they're going to go and factory back a couple of super truck teams next year. I wonder. Buddy, you won a bunch of races for Dodge.
I heard that somebody that won a ton of races, like Richard Petty, might have talked to Chrysler Corporation about maybe fielding a Dodge truck next year.
That'll happen.
It would surely be a popular return, would it not? A lot of people would like to see Chrysler back.
No, don't call. Richard is not going to drive it.
No.
But another Winston Cup star is planning to come out of retirement to drive super trucks next year. Harry Gant plans to run 10 races if sponsorship details can be finalized in a super truck.
Boy, I tell you what, that'll help that series because he is a serious racer, and he's in great shape. I mean, he quit, I guess, so he'd be home more, but, you know, the truck racing's on Saturday. That gives him Sunday at home.
Rusty Wallace trying to move in the Miller Genuine Draft Ford. And close on 3rd place Mark Martin. There's Mark. There's Rusty. Not a lot of distance, and it's closing.
Rusty's turned it up just a notch here. He has that ability. Boy, when he gets into a rhythm, he really turns it on.
And they may have lost some people, but that is still a very solid team, and they really know what they're doing. And lead the all-pro balloting, where crew members vote for each other, and they say, well, who amongst us is the very best? And Rusty Wallace crew got more votes than anybody. One of the people who got a vote there, Todd Parrott, is leaving. They still got 13 tying them with Yates.
Yeah, and the nice thing about that Skoll balloting is that all the crew members vote. It is not a ballot of the fans or of the media or anybody else. It's a peer group voting to determine who the best mechanics are. Here's your Goodyear mid-race recap brought to you by Goodyear, #1 in tires. Sterling Marlin is the most recent of 6 different leaders. 7 lead changes. Rick Mast, Jeff Gordon, Marlin, Ward, Burton have had their shot at the front. Hut Strickland, the pole sitter, and Mark Martin led 1 lap, just enough to get those 5 bonus points. Mike Wallace with crash damage, Bobby Labonte engine, and Greg Sachs engine are the drivers officially out of this race. Ken Schrader and Mike Waltrip both returned from the garage area and are on the speedway after sustaining heavy damage.
One guy I think a lot of people are going to be watching in that voting for the crew member competition is a man named James Luter, who has made the team every year since the contest started in 1987. Mr. Luter is 75 years old. He is a machinist for Robert Yates.
Older than Herschel McGriff?
Older than Herschel. Not much, but older than Herschel.
James Luter was a great motorcycle mechanic and machinist, and he was the machinist on the 28 car that I won Daytona in. I mean, he's been around. He knows what he's doing. He can fix my car any day.
Speaking of knowing what you're doing, did you see how loose Rusty Wallace was when he passed by Mark Martin and took over 3rd place?
He just did that for showmanship. He knew we were showing it, and he just stood on it. Say something, man. Don't
I don't even have a line.
Are you in shock?
Back in the car, buddy. Sing, buddy. Report that Mark might have a tire going down. Mike's question from Oregon. If one team can pick up another team's radio communication, sure they can. And so can you fans in the grandstand. A lot of companies like Racing Electronics sell and rent scanners to the fans so they can listen into the teams. And you know that if the fans can listen in, the teams are monitoring other teams too. So sometimes the teams will speak in codes about certain things, such as whether or not we have a tire going down.
And sometimes they don't tell exactly the truth, do they, Mike?
Well, sometimes.
I'm watching Mark Martin's car. I'm not sure he has the tire going down. I think his tires might be giving up on him just a little bit. You run through stages of a race, even with the best of handling cars, that you have a problem and you need to fix the car. And this might be his time to adjust a little.
He's working hard at it, as you see here.
Nice picture. Gosh, I love to watch how these guys work.
Well, let's check with Randy.
No question about it. Mark's tires are gone, so he ran it pretty hard right now. You know, you can set him up for a short run, set him up for a long run. Mark's team generally tries to do that, but they still were a little limited on practice, so a few more adjustments for the 6 team, and we're getting ready to have a battle up front with the 4 cars.
At the North Carolina Motor Speedway, 209 laps are on the board. We're just past halfway. Bobby Hamilton comes pit side. Rick Math leads Sterling Marlin.
What happened? Jeff's back in.
I was trying to describe that, but yeah, I'm going, where's the wreck?
I thought I had the big one on. Wow.
Yeah, switch. Let's
look at here. Rusty takes second.
Oh, great timing, Pam. Lead change, or second place change, or lead change, something like that. Pam, you know this only happens when you're producing. I know.
I think Rusty and Sterling are not happy just at
Turn
oh, God, what a hit. Oh, man, Michael Waltrip just...
Thank God there were tires there filled with water.
Yep.
Once again.
And Shane Hall.
Once again.
Oh, my God.
Jeff Gordon had just stopped again. He lost another lap.
Good grief.
I mean, Michael popped them.
He's got the bend on
He
that
better
down.
be glad.
Yeah.
He's okay.
He better be glad for the water.
Shane's, and they're both okay.
Today's exclusive coverage of the AC Delco 400 on TNN is brought to you by the more than 1,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by RCA, changing entertainment again.
Michael Waltrip has just climbed out from a horrendous-looking crash at the entrance of pit road. He went over to talk to Shane Hall, the other driver involved. Look at all that's left of the Pennzoil Pontiac at lap 213. Here's what happened.
Oh, Hall comes off the quarter and just nails Michael.
Watch this.
Bam.
Thank goodness for those water cans there. I'll tell you, that took a lot of that impact away.
They used to just stack up tires at the end of that wall, but now they use barriers filled with water to disperse the impact. They work.
Yeah, and it's a good thing, too. Boy, that was shades of Michael Waltrip's crash at Bristol where the car just stopped.
Le Mans winner and engineer John Fitch out of Connecticut developed that type of barrel system. You see them a lot on the highways filled with sand or water, and they just saved Michael Waltrip from a disastrous crash after Shane Hall came across the racetrack and caught Michael's car. Now, Jeff Gordon was in the pits while that happened, so he has gone at least another lap down. Jeff Gordon is now 3 laps down as his hard day continues here at the Rock. But Michael Waltrip is okay, and Shane Hall is okay. Let's go to Gordon's pit. Here's Glenn.
Well, Mike, the Rainbow Warriors are getting rained on today. As sunny and pretty as it is here at Rockingham, they have just not had a good day. This is the second time that Jeff has come in, and immediately when they let the car down off the jacks, the caution flag has come out, costing him 2 extra laps. He was not at all happy with the way that the car was driving. They're concerned now that they might have a little bit too high a gear in the car. It's not slowing it down enough when he gets in the corners, when he lets off the gas. He's having to get on the brakes, ride the brakes pretty hard. He's not getting good tire wear. They're just not happy at all. They're working real hard to try to correct the car as much as they can. The biggest thing they're trying to do now is just to keep Jeff calm. They have had some awfully tough breaks. They had the run-in with Greg Sachs when he was trying to pit. The tires going down, getting caught in the pits twice under caution. It's just not been a good day, but, man, they're continuing to fight the battle, but right now they're losing it.
They're 3 laps down at the moment. There is Michael Waltrip standing with crew chief Doug Hewitt, and the rest of that team. He is okay after a tremendous crash. Wow.
If that water barrel hadn't have been there, they would have sliced that car right in half.
If that have been just tires or something?
Yep.
Right. Randy or Glenn, I believe they did take Shane Hall to the care center. Michael walked away. He's standing with his crew, but they did take Shane to the care center.
We'll try to get a word with, or an update from somebody.
Okay. Glenn, what happened? Shane hit the outside wall and then came across the track and caught Michael.
Okay.
They did not wreck together. You know, Shane hit the wall and then came across.
Soft walls. We need them in
I
more
love
places.
it.
We need them in more places.
I love it.
Yep, me too, Mike.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then let's see that again when you get a chance, please. It'll explain the mess there with all the water.
Those are all, by the way, strapped together.
Yes. Yep.
Is Mark Martin a lap down?
No.
No?
No.
He didn't
pit.
He didn't pit. He just said he had a tire going
That's
flat.
right.
It wasn't going flat.
He did not pit. Correct.
Okay. Well, you'd rather me ask than to say something a little silly, wouldn't you?
You just ask Gail. She'll tell you everything. Yes, you did.
I wonder if they're going to fill those barrels back up again.
I better do something.
I want to leave that blunt wall.
No. Well, they worked.
Wow. They did their job then. Now,
So, see, okay. See, that was already messed up when he came across the racetrack.
have you got a shot of this car?
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at the fuel cell and everything.
It's fine.
Yep. I bet it's still got all
That'd
the
have been
fuel
10 years ago. That'd have been the awfulest fire because it's bent all the way up to the
Look at that.
firewall.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Rockingham. TNN rides down the road in a Winnebago from Cedar Ridge RV Center, Branchville, New Jersey. Call 1-800-988-4884. Joe and the folks will tell you why Cedar Ridge and Winnebago is the choice of champions. And for information on Featherlight trailers, call 1-800-800-1230. Featherlight is the official trailer of NASCAR. As they continue to clean up from Shane Hall and Michael Waltrip's crash at the beginning of pit road, this Peerless Innovation in Motion is brought to you by Peerless Faucets.
Some of the most spectacular views in our telecast come from our in-car cameras, and our TNN viewers have often wondered just how they work. So let's answer the question you fans have asked the most. Now, on race day, okay, the guy's set up, he's going around now. When we see the pictures appear on the screen, where's that controlled from? How is it controlled?
That's controlled from our remote truck that's in the television compound, and we have a small control panel that operates each car, and we turn the cars on and off. We make camera adjustments. We move the cameras. We adjust the colors. Everything's all done by remote control from a truck in the TV compound.
All right, and there's also, how do you get that signal from the truck to the camera?
There's a small antenna that goes in the rear window of the car that shoots a signal up to a helicopter that hovers over the racetrack, and then it's received in the helicopter, and then it's put into another transmit system that sends it back to the ground to our truck, and then from our truck it's fed into the remote truck and then up on the satellite.
Now, the thing that I want to know the most is time and time again, I have seen the camera looking out the front, and you're seeing where the guy's going, and the lens starts getting dirty, and it looks like that there's like a layer of plastic or a lens being peeled off. So how does that work?
It's a small piece of film that runs across the lens, and there's a reel on one side and a servo motor on the other side. And when it gets dirty, I just hit a switch on the control panel, which turns the little servo motor on. It pulls a clean piece of film across the front of the lens.
That film is only about 3/4 of an inch wide, and the camera is only about 1/2 inch in diameter. And for the second time today, Randy Pemberton has to or gets to interview Michael Waltrip.
Well, we've heard a lot of drivers and people say they'd like to fill something up, fill one of the racetracks up, make a fishing hole out of it. You tried to do that, Michael. You're smiling, but goodness gracious, I don't think you can fix that car, but if they do, don't go back out there.
Well, I think Sterling holds the record. I watched him wreck 4 times at Bristol one night, so even if I do get it fixed, I figure surely I won't wreck again. You know, this ain't how we got to be a top 10 car in the points. I think we had 2 wrecks all year long, and now we've had 2 in one day, so that's kind of different. But my mom and dad are thinking about moving to North Carolina, and I hope they do, because I'm gonna need my neck rubbed in the morning, Ma. Come on over. But you know, seriously, just disappointing, man. I couldn't believe it. We had to undo all the power steering from the first wreck, and when I saw him spinning, the thing would go left okay, but it didn't go right very well at all, and I did all I could do. I veered to the right and tried to hurry on past because it was too late to stop, and I didn't make it. And I hit those barrels and got all wet.
Okay, tough break. Stay out of that car this time.
I'm all wet.
He's all wet, but he's all right. The fire truck is there to refill the plastic barrels. You see some of them in the back of that pickup truck that really do a great job of dissipating the energy of a car that would otherwise hit the end of that pit wall.
And that's the key, Mike. It wants to be a soft wall rather than a hard wall. This is the way they were done this morning. They were all strapped together with these nylon wraps. They do put a cover on top of each one of the barrels, and it takes a while for the water to go squirting out, and that is what slows things down enough so the driver doesn't get hurt. It's the sudden stop that'll get you, whether it's a race car or on the highway. And by cushioning the car against the wall, save a lot of drivers from a lot of grief.
And we saw at Flemington in the truck race, Flemington, New Jersey, one of the tracks that employs the styrofoam barriers along the outside walls. And, you know, going there, NASCAR's concern was that wrecks might take longer to clean up. Just the opposite happened. The truck would go into the styrofoam wall, the styrofoam would blow apart, and the cars or trucks going around a couple of laps would just blow a little piece of styrofoam away. You set down a new block, and plus, when you hit the styrofoam, you don't necessarily put a hole through the radiator, through the oil cooler, and dump a lot of fluids on the track. Most of the trucks that hit the foam barrier were able to drive away. So soft walls, definitely the coming thing, and the good news for race drivers certainly was today. They have not yet opened pit road because of all the water, so we'll take a pause here at lap 221.
Thank you. Nice job in the soft walls.
I'm such a believer.
So much.
I really am. I think it's terrific.
Save lives. Absolutely. And cars.
Yep. We'll do that. We will do that. Pam, we might show yesterday's finish when we have, if we're going to have a long break. Okay. Yawn. That's a good one.
Tip. Do you watch it?
Yeah, we can get Buddy's tip in. Yeah. Was great.
Tip.
No, whatever you want.
I'll tell you what.
Can I?
If I owned a race car, I'd want one-digit numbers.
Pit road's going to be
Look,
open.
1, 2, 4, 3, 6.
Yep.
You're missing it right now. Well, okay.
Now, watch. Let's hope nobody slides through their pit, getting those tires all wet.
They're telling them to slow down up there.
Well, some of them
That
are.
don't always work.
Some of them are.
See John Andretti smoking.
Oh, there's loose tires all over pit road.
I can't believe
God, they got to stop that. They have to put that man back on the left side.
Oh, one just rolled right to Randy. Nice catch, Randy.
We don't have these problems at Grand National, and that's a 2-gun rule.
Well,
this is new for this
hey,
group, though.
Randy Pemberton, tire catcher.
Yep.
Oh, look out.
Oh, Sterling. I don't think so.
No, not with Rusty.
Haha. And look who got out ahead of everybody.
Yes.
The 5 points are now in his grasp.
Yep.
As we speak. The Flying A's come to his rescue.
Yes.
And where is the fat lady?
Today's Ford Buddy Baker driving tip is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
The big question most people have when they first start out racing is what to do in a bad accident or what not to do to avoid it. Rusty Wallace, what would you advise guys when they first start out to do?
Well, buddy, I tell you, there's a lot of ways to avoid something, but generally, if you're running with the wrong crowd, if you're looking at a couple guys up and they're swapping around, they're not looking right, that's generally not the time to run with those type of guys. A lot of people say, man, you tend to avoid accidents for some reason. I think I'm a firm believer there's a time to race and a time not to race. And if there's 4 or 5 cars sliding together, I mean, you don't need to get up in there and make it 5 or 6 cars. I tend to get back, let that thing straighten out, and then make my moves. I have gotten accidents in my early days where I get real aggressive and be right up there with them all, and we'd all wreck. Patience is a big deal, and you don't win the race until the last lap.
Thanks, Rusty, and thanks, Buddy, for that tip. We've seen a bit of that today. And from Elmo Cam, we're looking at the front of what's left of whose car?
That's Kenny Schrader's car.
Yes. Pit road was open. Now they have closed it again to sweep up some of the standing water after everyone has been allowed to make a stop. And
Morgan Shepherd did not know it was closed, and he come in there and he had to go back out. That was that little groan I made there.
There's Elmo Langley, pace car driver at work behind the wheel of that Trans Am. Tom from Washington wants to know what would happen if 2 drivers were tied in the points after the last race. Well, Tom, there cannot be a tie in the Winston Cup point standings. If 2 drivers are tied in points, the driver who had the single best finish that season would get the higher position. If both drivers have, let's say, 3 fourth-place finishes, then you go to their next best finish until you break the tie. But there cannot be a tie even for the championship.
Dick, we're learning all kind of things today, aren't we?
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Bobby Hamilton back in the pits again. He has spent almost as much time, it seems, in the pits as he has on the racetrack today. Had a real tough day.
And the fellows have been working hard on that car today. Richard Petty and Dale Inman, of course, the stalwarts of Petty Enterprises. Robbie Loomis, crew chief. Rick Mann, Scott Eggleston, and Greg Stedman changed the tires. Archie Kennedy jacks the car. Randy Cox and Doug Murph carry the tires. Jeff Craven, Mitch Gibson with the catch can. David Walker drives the truck. And he was involved in an accident. That's the Get Well wish that's on that Chuck Spicer put on there for him.
Boy, I love that. You know, these are the guys that make great teams and everything. I like to see them get a little acknowledged. You know, they're the reason that when a guy wins a race, those people in the background are the people that cause it.
Yeah, there's the king.
Yep.
Calling the shots. All right, Ricky Rudd is in the lead lap here, running in the top 10 all day. Glenn is in his pit.
Talking with crew chief Billy Engle, Mike, the guys had a lot of time to talk under caution there about what they were going to do to their cars when they finally got to come on pit road. But Ricky Rudd was telling Billy that the car was doing one thing, the tires were telling him it was doing another. So what do you do?
Well, what we've done, we've kind of adjusted on the car a little bit all day long, and every time Ricky's telling us about halfway through a tire run that the car is loose. But when the tires come off of it, they're telling me that it's too tight. So I decided to make an aero tightening adjustment and loosen the chassis up and give that a shot here and see how that works out.
An aero tightening adjustment. What is that?
A little more spoiler.
Why did he just say that?
Billy Engle going back to driving next year, I guess, and crew chiefing on the side.
Yeah, for 2019, right?
Yeah,
for Steve Grissom's
29.
team. That's right. Well, we're still under caution as they continue to clean up the front end of pit road. Here's how they're running. Well, good. I'm glad somebody did. Thank you, Joel.
Uh-oh. Still working on the 5.
Okay. Thank you.
No,
it's fine.
I tell you, Greg's worth his weight in gold up here. You'll find out. You want to know something, just ask him. I promise you.
Ooh, this is interesting.
He's like our head announcer over here. A plethora of information. You know
Knows a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well, he does. He reads.
Pits are open.
Who's that? Boom, boom. I think it's about time you and I sing something when we come back.
Welcome back to Rockingham. 228 laps are complete. Pit road is open once again as cleanup continues. Yesterday, NASCAR and TNN's parent company, Gaylord Entertainment, made an announcement here.
We are going to announce an exclusive long-term agreement with a company that most of you are familiar with, and that's the Gaylord Entertainment Group, to roll out all across the country what we call NASCAR Thunder, which is a very high-end apparel and merchandise store. Very similar to what you might see in a Warner Brothers or Disney concept.
I think it's a natural line extension for TNN and Gaylord to pull all our businesses together and get behind a really growing and exciting sport with NASCAR. So we're going to be pushing it hard. You're going to be seeing a lot on the network, and I think it's going to be a plus for everybody that's involved.
So the barrier has been repaired here and replaced at the end of pit road. And the remaining water will dry off pretty quickly, and we'll be set to go back to green here in just a moment. On the lead lap presently, 19 cars. Another 3 a lap down, and another 8 cars 2 laps down. Still only 4 cars out of the race. Going to be another lap or 2 of caution here. Jimmy Llewellyn, one of NASCAR's pioneers, passed away earlier this week at the age of 76. He was one of 33 starters in the very first Winston Cup race back in 1949. He ran 142 of what we now call Cup races, had 6 second-place finishes, and 3 times finished in the top 10 in points. Rick Mast leads here at Rockingham ahead of Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace and Sterling Marlin. We'll be right back.
Yay! Yay! Poor Jeff Gordon. He's got to be able to hear the noise of the breathing.
Yeah, I'll do that. I was going to do it. I'll do it coming back. I didn't want to do that in the... Well, you've been dogging it then, Pam. You have been dogging it.
Oh, my.
Yep, Pam gets a timeout. This next BJ is brought to you by...
Oh, my. Wow. Whoa.
I'll get it in.
Doyle Ford?
Maybe.
That's he. That's he. Uh-oh. What are you writing?
Okay, instead of listing the 19 cars on the lead lap, Bill, we'll get in promo 5. If you insist. Opryland USA is the official destination of NASCAR. Call the number on your screen for more information Monday through Friday. Rick Mast to lead them down for the restart. Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, Sterling Marlin, Mark Martin, Joe Nemechek in 6th place. Dick Trickle, Ricky Rudd, John Andretti, and Ward Burton, your top 10. Jeremy Mayfield's up there. Good run for him today. Bill Elliott, Jeff Burton, Terry Labonte. The Jimmy Spencer car, driven by Rich Bickle, on the lead lap as we come down for green.
Boy, Jeff Gordon needs to make up some laps. Every time he makes a pit stop, the yellow flies just afterwards, and he loses another lap. I guess he's 3 laps down right now.
That's correct. Let's add to the cars on the lead lap: Ricky Craven, Lake Speed, Jeff Bodine, and Gary Bradbury. So up front is Rick Mast as Earnhardt and Darrell Waltrip, past champions, lean on each other just a little bit. And as they wheel off into turn number 1, Randy Pemberton, do you think Rick Mast will let Earnhardt lead a lap?
Well, there's been a conversation between the two crews, and I believe they said they would oblige. If Earnhardt can get up alongside of Mast, he's going to let him pick up the 5 points. We've seen it done this year before, surprisingly enough, but I don't think Earnhardt's going to be able to get to him.
Well, surprising, too, with Mast being in a Ford and Earnhardt is Chevrolet, but next year that Rick Mast team moves to Pontiac, so who knows on what basis allegiances are made and broken in this sport, even temporary ones.
They might need to talk to Rusty Wallace at the same time, because he's just behind Earnhardt there. He's racing very hard right now, and that car is really down. Oh, Sterling Marlin sideways. He gets it back straight. I thought he had wrecked.
He straightens it out. Mark Martin moves past and takes that position away. Close call for Sterling Marlin.
Man.
Here comes Earnhardt underneath Bobby Hillen, who is 2 laps down.
Dick, you'll get used to that. I holler when they get sideways.
But I can't get used to stuff like what just happened, buddy. I mean, that was an incredible save for Sterling Marlin to pull that out. I thought he was gone.
And half the field with him. Let's show it to you again in case you were at the refrigerator when that happened.
See Sterling right there. He is in big trouble.
Squares it away. Look how much momentum you lose with a slide like that. Mark Martin shoots right on past.
It takes you that long to get your foot working again. Are you kidding me?
And get your heart pumping again, too. I bet it stopped for a while.
Well, as Buddy said earlier, the restarts. Probably the most feared part of this race for a lot of drivers. You never know what's going to happen. Rusty Wallace clears Bobby Hillen's car. And Earnhardt has not gained any ground on Rick Mast.
No, he's putting a lot of pressure on himself right now. You see Bobby Hillen now, he's a couple of laps down, but he's running well enough to be right up in the front. You see, he's running right in there.
Well, he's got a new motivation to run well. He's a part owner of that car at this point, buddy. Jasper Engine people, the sponsor, have bought a bunch of it, and so have a couple of their distributors, and Hillen's got some of it, too. There goes Gordon back down.
3 laps down. The would-be champion who came into this race 205 points ahead of Dale Earnhardt. Right now, Gordon is running in 27th position.
You know, it's just a couple of weeks ago, I was reading all kind of articles about Jeff Gordon having the championship wrapped up. It's not wrapped up, folks. This is going to be right down to the wire, I believe.
We haven't even seen the fat lady here at the Speedway yet. She hasn't shown up.
Boy, what a mess here. Ward Burton tried to get under John Andretti, ran out of room. Everybody stacks up right behind him. Steve Grissom, 29. The Meineke car on the high side. Ooh, Andretti a little loose.
Very loose.
Straightens it up.
Big cluster of cars right there.
Jeremy Mayfield moves underneath him in Cale Yarborough's RCA car. Jeremy running with the top 10 today. Good run.
Mike, the one thing you can see now, there is 2 grooves out there, and the upper lane now is just as fast as the bottom. You really don't have a great advantage by being on the bottom part of the racetrack.
Well, if this were 1 year ago, buddy, this would be the halfway lap. And now Musgrave gets together with Lake Speed down the front straightaway at the back of that pack. Well, they're okay. There they are. They're going to be all right, but boy, the fenders continue to flail here. Tense moment for those 2 drivers. Musgrave is a lap down. Lake Speed, or 2 laps down. Lake Speed is on the lead lap. They sort out okay. Things start to settle in now. How about Bradbury there right behind Jeff Bodine? He'd only had 9 laps of practice ever here at Rockingham in a Winston Cup car, and he's on the lead lap.
And how about the 4, Sterling Marlin? It doesn't look like that slide for life scared him at all, does it? He's right back at it again, pressuring Mark Martin for position. Martin is running 4th.
You see anybody in the garage this weekend wearing the Judge Ito mask? That's the biggest selling Halloween mask this year. I thought sure somebody hanging around that Kyle Petty car with the pumpkin design would have had that on. No?
Haven't seen it.
Not Halloween yet.
Martin running in 4th, Sterling Marlin in 5th spot.
You know, Mike, we pointed out several times during the race that several of the guys thought they actually had a flat tire. Mark Martin just a little while ago said the right rear was going flat. Well, he ran on and on and on and caught a caution. If he'd have pulled in right away without feeling that car and realized the tires had gone away so badly, he would have been a lap down right at this point.
But instead, Mark is right up in the thick of it, battling with Sterling Marlin here for 4th place.
And you know, both of those guys are having their best Winston Cup seasons ever. Mark with 4 wins, Sterling with 3 wins. Mark says that one of the reasons this is such a good season for him, and his crew chief agrees, is that the 4 teams have had to come from so far behind to catch up with the Chevrolets, and they've all pulled together and done it.
Billy Engel told Glenn about the change he made on Ricky Rudd's car. It was an arrow kind of change. The arrow is facing the wrong way. Ricky is backing up. Sorry, Billy. But no, Ward Burton just went past Ricky. That was for 8th place, and now Bill Elliott's about to get him for 9th.
And you might wonder where that number 94 comes from on Bill Elliott's car. That's for his nephew, who is not doing all that great right now. We're certainly pulling for him.
For Casey.
Casey, yep. A tough week this week. Going to go to the hospital in Houston tomorrow morning. We all wish you well, Casey Elliott. Used to be his number when he raced.
94. Yep. Joe Nemechek right behind Mark Martin. Nemechek is the 6th place car. Good run for the Burger King Chevy today.
You know, we hadn't talked about him, but you can see right there he's just as fast as Mark Martin, and I look for great things out of this boy. He can drive a race car. You see the hood's been up a little bit. I think he got into an altercation earlier in the race. Just in the middle part of the hood there is bent down just a little bit, but he's flying around this racetrack.
He's also looking to sign his sponsor this week. Another good reason to have a good run today. Wish him well in that endeavor.
And as we watch this, Ricky Rudd drops out of the top 10. Both Jeff Burton and Terry Labonte go past his car. Dick Trickle is on the lead lap, and he's right behind Nemechek.
Well, he's another one there's a lot of controversy about whether he's going, where he's going or what he's going to do next year. One thing he told me for sure, he said, I want to race. So I would just, if I had a race car, I wouldn't hesitate a moment. He's a good race car driver and won a bunch of races.
Fairly experienced.
Yes. Experienced in winning.
Yes, very much so.
And here's Ward Burton putting the MBNA Pontiac right up behind Bud Moore's Ford with Trickle aboard.
Whoa, Trickle.
Hang on, guys.
And Mark Martin just slides right to the back of that bunch.
I think somewhere along the way they've gotten off just a little bit as far as balance on that race car. He's not able to go the long run very fast at all.
Remember, Martin is looking for his 4th win in a row. Glenn, is there a problem?
Well, Mike, they made an adjustment on the car, and Mark just radioed in last lap. He said, let's go back up with the car. They lowered it just a little bit. He said, let's go back up with the car. It's not running worth a darn right now, so they know that they went the wrong way. Maybe they did the same kind of adjustment that Billy Engel made. Arrows pointing the wrong way, but they're definitely looking to change it. They have just changed the new set of tires here in the pits that are on the stands that they're going to put on the car. So obviously those tires were aired up a little differently than the ones they had out there. So they're going back to what they had before because Mark is not happy.
And I'm corrected, Glenn, 3rd win in a row. He won at North Wilkesboro and at Charlotte. So looking for his 3rd straight win here in 1995.
Got 140 laps to straighten it all out. Plenty of time yet to get everything squared away, and they'll certainly have at least one more pit stop before it's all done and over with, maybe more than that. And these guys just keep showing up on camera today, don't they?
Ward Burton.
Yep, doing a great job.
Started 3rd, currently running in 7th. And Dick Trickle. How long has it been since Trickle had a top 5 finish?
Not this year.
That's right. 10th is his best of the season. That came at Pocono in July. Turn 2, a car in the wall. that Andretti? No, it's 31 Gary Bradbury. He was on the lead lap all day. And Buddy can tell us what a terrible spot turn 2 is up there.
Well, what happens? You come off there and the car just jumps out towards the wall.
Back there in a second. First, Randy, is there a problem with Rick Mast?
Yes, there's a problem, guys. He came by the front stretch when that caution came out. No question about it. Rick Mast has dropped the cylinder. Well, I may be wrong now. It could be an ignition, but that car is not firing. So, and man, this team's heart just sunk, every one of them. So they're going to try and take a look at it when he brings it in under this caution.
And look who led this lap back to the caution, Dale Earnhardt. So Earnhardt gets the 5 bonus points as the rescue crew goes to Gary Bradbury, who was on the lead lap. Buddy, you were telling us again about turn 2 there.
Yeah, what happens, Mike? You run right around the base of the racetrack, and coming off over there's a little crown as you start out of that corner, and there's a patch over there. It kind of upsets the chassis, and it just jumps over towards the wall, and it's real easy to get in trouble there.
So the rookie Bradbury, who was on the lead lap and had a fine run, ends it up in the concrete. The leaders are pitting here at lap 257, and we saw a few puffs of smoke from behind Rick Mast's car. Let's see what Richard Jackson's team does. They are going under the hood to have a look.
Man, I hope there's nothing wrong with that car.
Randy?
Well, they certainly don't know. They're going to take a look at it. It sounded like a cylinder to me. You know, you have to speculate, look back. You wonder if possibly that missed shift earlier could be showing up now. It's a possibility. We'll just have to wait and see. But, man, these guys are heartbroken. Best run they've had all year. Glenn?
Well, we're down to Mark Martin's pits, and they definitely did readjust the car they took out. They put some bite in it a while ago. They took it out this time. 4 tires of fuel. Same thing for Dale Earnhardt. Same thing for Ward Burton. All the cars down here making very slight adjustments. As Billy Engel told you about his car, Ricky Rudd's, they've been adjusting on them all day. But Martin went back to where they were a while ago. That seemed to be the best setup yet. We're going to talk to Steve Mill in a minute and find out exactly what they did.
Jeff Gordon comes down pit road with the lap down cars, and Randy, his Rick Mast car may not even be running at this juncture.
They're pushing it towards the garage area.
They backed him up. They're going to push him behind the wall. Motor gone, guys. He's probably done for the day. We'll talk to him here in a moment.
Man, how can that happen?
I'm sorry. Yep. I was posing a parenthetical question and didn't expect to get an answer there. I'm sorry. What was it? Oh, she was trying to get us to break. And
wow. Man, hey, get this. This is how bad this pit road thing is doing. Rusty was mad at his pit stop. I think Billy Wilburn just quit. He's walking away right now. Rusty said that's enough of this, you know what. So, man, I'll tell you. 2 team running well, but falling apart.
Darrell Waltrip is back in the lead lap again, guys.
Is he?
Yeah.
how about that?
He's fighting his way back.
Yeah.
He's running well, too.
He doesn't. Can you believe Rick Mast? Luck.
No.
Well, I guess I'd rather be leading and blow up than be running 30th and blow up. Well, you know.
Yeah. I've done it enough.
Okay. Okay.
We want to know about that crewman, too, in a few minutes. That's pretty important.
Especially him. He's one of the best tire changers there is.
Yep.
I don't believe I've ever heard anybody
Well,
doing
you know,
that.
that's
All pro first team.
You?
No. The NASCAR Family Cruise in the Big Red Boat is sponsored by R.J. Reynolds, Image South Marketing, and Laval Corporation. NASCAR fans have the opportunity to make cruise history. Cruise from Cape Canaveral to the Bahamas December 4 through 7. Winston Cup drivers, including Kyle Petty, Ernie Irvin, Todd Bodine, Ted Musgrave, and Steve Grissom will participate. Proceeds benefit Winston Cup Racing Drivers Wives Auxiliary. For more information, call the number on your screen. Rick Mass began his Winston Cup career at Bristol in August 1988 in a car owned by Buddy Baker. He hoped to win his first race today and will not. Randy?
Well, we figured we'd be possibly interviewing Rick, but we didn't think we'd be back here in the garage area. Rick, we're absolutely sick for you. You had a heck of a race car.
Yeah, it's a good car, you know. I don't know what happened. I think it blew up.
Tough break for Rick Master. What do you say? The guys run well all day. One other note here that I have to make. On pit road during that last pit stop, the 2-car of Rusty Wallace had another pit stop that they just didn't feel they got off pit road right. I don't know where they're running presently on the racetrack, right behind Terry Labonte on the track. Billy Wilburn, all-pro front tire changer, walked off. So Rusty was mad at his pit stop. There were some words exchanged. I saw Billy Wilburn walk back to the garage area. He is now in the 2 truck. We'll go back out onto the pit road. We'll find out who's going to change front tires. But amazing how this new pit road rule has affected so many teams, and certainly negatively for the 2 teams.
And I think just how the pressure toward the end of the season is affecting some of the runs and some of the action along pit road today. Rick Mass led the most laps today, 139, only 5 times in 60 races here, as the driver who led the most laps failed to finish.
Billy Wilbert is a good one. He's a real good one, one of the best tire changers ever in Winston Cup racing.
Well, tempers flare in this business, and hopefully just temporarily.
Yep.
We're getting set to go back to green here. The lap count is 261. Make that 262 as they come around. Jeff Gordon 3 laps down, the Winston Cup point leader. But Dale Earnhardt, the race leader, stands to gain a lot of ground in that season-long chase for the championship as we go back to green. Earnhardt leads Sterling Marlin and Dick Trickle in 3rd. Mark Martin's 4th, Joe Nemechek 5th, Ward Burton is 6th. 7th is Ricky Craven, 8th is Bill Elliott, Terry Labonte, and Rusty Wallace 10th.
After all these years, if Dick Trickle is auditioning for a deal for 1996, the audition is going very well today.
He's the 3rd car. He's on the outside of Jeff Gordon as they go into turn 1 there. Look at Trickle, how much momentum he gets up off the corner. Watch him go down this back straightaway. That car is running.
That's the best Bud Moore's car has run this year, I feel.
Seat's still open in that car. It's not yet set as to who's going to drive it. Ooh, nice run up front for the lead.
Sterling Marlin. On the bottom, hunting the lead.
One thing about it, he'll have to earn it. He won't just roll over and play dead there.
Wow.
Earnhardt fighting him back. You see Jeff Gordon making it 3 wide going in the corner there.
And Dick Trickle just about got into the back of Marlin.
There was some tire smoke there. I think there was some contact, Mike.
That was a bonsai move by Jeff Gordon.
Yep.
Jeff, I'm sure he wants to get some of these laps back. I mean, he has really been plagued. Every time he stopped today, there's been a caution just moments afterwards.
Darrell Waltrip's just gotten back on the lead lap. And that'll now give us 18 cars on the lead lap.
Looks like Jeff's a little bit quicker than Earnhardt right now, but boy, they're fighting for the national championship. They have to be very, very careful. Can you imagine if he hit Earnhardt right now, turned him around?
Nobody's counting points right now. It's just good, hard racing. Here comes Trickle up underneath Bobby Hillen right behind these 2. Nope, couldn't do it in turn 3. Sterling Marlin and Mark Martin also having quite a battle as you watch from Mark's car.
See, Sterling's car just danced just a little bit, coming right up out of the corner. He may have just a little bit of a loose condition right at the moment, but that may get better as he goes along.
Well, we'll see if Mark and the Valvoline Ford can capitalize. Jeff Gordon lined up right on the back bumper of Earnhardt. Going to sit there for a little while.
Well, the crowd's loving it. They're standing up. You see him moving to the inside as they come off turn 4.
But, buddy, when you make that move on the inside off the corner, do you have the momentum? Obviously, he had it at the end of the straightaway there.
There's your answer, but he's up high, and Earnhardt's trying to make a move back on the inside. That's kind of a patent move by the 3-car there of Earnhardt.
All right, hey, if you're Andy Petrie, do you tell Earnhardt, hey, if he goes by you, he's still 2 laps down?
I don't think you talked to Dale Earnhardt very much.
Yeah, I'll bet Earnhardt knows exactly where Jeff Gordon is running. I don't think he needs anybody in the pit to tell him how many laps down Gordon is. I'm sure he's well aware of that situation. And letting him go now is probably a very wise move rather than take a chance and possibly have a jingle here.
Agreed. Here's the running order. Your Napa Field standing update. Napa, we keep America running. So Jeff Gordon is now 2 laps down. Gave you the top 10 a minute ago. The rest of that lead lap includes Jeff Burton, Ricky Rudd, Darrell Waltrip, now up to 13th. John Andretti, Jeremy Mayfield, Jeff Bodine, Jimmy Spencer's car with Rich Bickle in relief, and Lake Speed. Now here's Sterling Marlin in 3rd. In 4th, Mark Martin. And in 5th place in the car now is Ricky Craven. Let's go back to Randy for more on the Rusty Wallace pit crew.
Just an amazing set of circumstances. I came back out here onto pit road, and they had Raymond Fox Jr. from the 28 car over here to take Billy Wilburn's place. Billy spoke with Robin Pemberton. They conferred a little bit. They discussed what they were going to do. Are you going to get it right? He's going to do it. Raymond Fox has now gone back to the 28 car. Billy Wilburn back on pit road to change tires for Rusty. Just an amazing set of circumstances for a pit crew during a race.
Well, it's good that worked out, Randy. I mean, we all know tempers flare during a race in the car on pit road, and you know, as we say, hopefully all those flare-ups are temporary. So good to see Billy back out there.
Oh, I bet there are going to be some conversations over the course of the winter in that garage area.
Or Monday at the team meeting.
That's a good likely possibility too.
Well, but that's okay. I mean, if your emotions didn't run close to the surface, could you perform 100% in a sport so full of pressure as this one?
That's what I was just fixing to say. The things that make these guys on the racetrack great is their temperament. Also, the guys that work on them. Men that'll work on these things like they do day and night, trying to make them better and better. And, of course, you have a temper. I mean, you're proud people.
Yep.
A lot of these guys, by the way, had worked as much as 80 and 90 days in a row without a day off until Charlotte was all done and over with 2 weeks ago. A bunch of them have now had 1 or 2 days off. They've gone home and cut their hayfield that was supposed to have been a lawn, reacquainted themselves with their children. Tell you what, these crew members work very, very hard. The drivers get the glamour. The crew members get the skin knuckles, the hard work, the late nights. Don't get a chance to see their wives.
Very good point, Dick. Hardly anybody realizes the amount of time that goes into preparing these race cars. If you have a question about today's race, give us a call, toll-free, 1-800-451-7331. If Dale Earnhardt leads every lap from now on, he will fall 1 lap short of leading the most today and getting the 5 points. Rick Mavs has locked that up.
Can you believe Bobby Hillin?
He's running well.
I mean, he's catching Earnhardt.
Yep.
2 laps down.
How'd he get 2 laps down running like that?
Hit it on the backside? I don't know.
Same way Morgan got down, I guess. Morgan's running good as
Yeah.
anybody right now, but he's 2 laps down.
Oh, good.
Where's Dale
That's
Jarrett
great.
in the running? He's a couple laps
Oh,
down?
he's laps down.
Dale Jarrett is 3 laps down.
Okay. Well, he turned it up, too.
Okay.
Fight.
Where does Hutt go next year?
8 car.
8 car. That's, yeah, we did say that at the
Ray
top of the
Bestis.
show. 8 car, but I don't think Ray Bestis.
No, not Ray Bestis. They don't have a sponsor yet.
Yeah, they may be an oil company.
Kendall, she said.
And John Dick is going to the 8 car next year.
Who Mark Martin almost got in before.
And
then.
Mark Smith's Motors are going to the 8 car next
Look,
year.
look at this. Oh, you know we're way at break.
All the good racing happens.
You can
in break
count
now.
on it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just another Pam jam, another lead change during break.
Oh,
A
poor
Pam
Pam.
jam. Oh. Oh. Nemechek is not doing as well. Ward Burton moving in.
Welcome back to Rockingham. Mike Joy with Buddy Baker and Dick Berggren. Glenn Jarrett and Randy Pemberton in the pits. 281 of 393 laps complete. Dale Earnhardt leading. And another real tough customer in second spot, Dick Trickle. Mark Martin is third. Sterling Marlin is fourth. Ward Burton, who started third, is fifth. Ricky Craven there is sixth, trying to hold Rusty Wallace.
He's not going to do it either.
No, Rusty's got the spot. When he goes into turn one, he ought to just move right on by. There he goes.
And Terry Labonte moving up along with Bill Elliott and Jeff Burton.
Still, that's pretty neat for a guy who is running this racetrack for the second time, Winston Cup.
There goes Ward Burton going by Sterling Marlin for position.
Fourth place. Bill Davis' car has been strong today.
Yeah, it has.
In fact, it's been strong since Ward Burton took it over.
And Clyde Booth came at the same time. Now, that's a combination. It's a team manager and a driver that all arrived at the same time. Booth says he loves this guy's attitude, this kid Burton. He said that they were going to go off a few days ago and do a test, and Ward just quietly went up to him and said, can you tell me, Clyde, who am I rooming with? Clyde said, son, you're in a good team right now. You're not rooming with anybody. You got your own room.
Another young fella's been doing well today, Ricky Craven. Terry Labonte and Bill Elliott may get past him here, but Craven's had a strong run in that Kodiak Chevy number 41.
Give a call to Bill Elliott running in ninth spot. He is going very, very well, too, in a brand new car.
And Jeff Burton, Ward's younger brother, moves into 10th place there in the Ray Vestas car of the Stavola brothers, number 8. Ward Burton. The Burtons are all over this place. He's up to third.
Well, I bet Bill Davis is jumping all over the pit wall down there. He's really, he has to be so proud of what they've been doing in the past few races.
Probably aren't nicer folks in racing than Bill and Gail Davis that own that team. And a trucking company in Arkansas. Now here's Rusty Wallace trucking on past Sterling Marlin. That'll be 5th place. So Marlin's dropped 2 spots now in 3 laps.
Sterling's got a little bit of a handling problem. He'll take off pretty well for the first 10, 12 laps after a caution, and then he just kind of backpedals until they make another stop for new tires.
Pete from Connecticut called in, wondered how Shane Hall got a provisional when Ernie Irvin and Dave Marcus are not in the show. Well, the provisionals go to the car owner, and Dick Brooks owns the car that Shane drove. He had a couple of unused provisionals, while Dave Marcus had used up all of his allotted provisionals, and Ernie Irvin is in the car that doesn't have enough Winston Cup points to qualify for one.
You see Dale Jarrett trying to get a lap back there. He does it pretty easily. He's hooked up right now. The 28 car is on the mark.
Done a lot of work on that car in the pits today. He's been in several times. He even did some sheet metal work in the right front corner of it, right on top of the fender. Try to get that thing to go a little faster. Earnhardt, your leader. Defending champion of this race, won here last fall, not in this same car.
Here's the interval back through 5th place. Earnhardt's not running away, but the man who's coming is Ward Burton.
Yeah, and you know, we talked at the head of the show about a strange lineup at the start of the race and people who had never won before. Right now we've got Dick Trickle in 2nd spot. He has never won a Winston Cup race. In 3rd spot is the 22 Ward Burton. He has never won a Winston Cup race.
Boy, it gets ugly from there down, though. There's a bunch of wins right behind them.
You go down to 9th spot, and you got Jeff Burton. He has never won a Winston Cup race. You got 3 guys in the top 10 who have never won one of these things.
And also on the lead lap, Joe Nemechek, Jeremy Mayfield, Ricky Craven, who have not been to victory lane, John Andretti, and I guess you have to count Rich Bickle and Jimmy Benjamin.
Hey, you know, with a shortened race, we could have an upset here. Could happen.
Could have an upset in any case.
Yes. We're getting a report from the pits right now that Earnhardt's complaining just a little bit. He says the car is extremely loose. You can see Ward Burton there, and he's catching Dick Trickle pretty quick now.
And Trickle's car is loosened up a bit. Still, it's the best run the Bud Morris team had this year. Trickle has only one top 10 finish this season. And you see him now in 2nd place.
Watch Ward Burton drive. I tell you, he's relentless. Once he starts moving in on somebody, you see he's trying. He looked under just then. I think when he makes his move, it'll be up out of the corner. He's able to turn that car a little bit better than Trickle.
He's fun, too, because he's so brave. He'll put that car in places you wouldn't think it could possibly go, and he'll make it work. He won't crash it.
And he has such a dry sense of humor, such a wry sense of humor. If Terry Labonte is the Iceman, this guy is dry ice.
Yeah.
He's fun to be around.
I don't imagine Dick Trickle thinks so right now. He's trying to take second spot away from him. He's looking on the bottom side. Trickle shuts the door as they start into the corner.
Youth versus experience.
Ah, there he
goes. Youth on the bottom, experience on the top, and youth prevails for the moment at least.
For the moment.
Yeah.
100 laps to go this time by at the Rock. You're watching Winston Cup Racing live on TNN.
I bet Schrader's loving this. Look how slow he's running out there.
Yeah. Oh, another Pam Jam down there in turn 3.
Ward's on the go, isn't he?
Oh, I'm telling you, this is impressive.
Bye-bye.
This is impressive.
I bet Bill Davis is going,
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Bill
Next
Davis
year,
is probably wondering who's going to try to take this kid away from him.
I don't think anybody could.
I hope not.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, Glenn.
Great comment, dry ice. I love it, man. got me doubled up down here.
I loved it.
Every once in a while.
That was classic. 28 cars, fastest car on the racetrack right now, other than Ward Burton. They may have changed that ball joint. They worked on that thing, Randy. What'd they do?
I checked with Larry prior to that last pit stop. He said he didn't know what was
Look out. Here comes Pierce.
again, but he's definitely running now.
Ooh, watch this.
I saw him up under it during that long caution for
Look at Rusty.
water barrel.
Yeah. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One right on top of the other.
Well, Bickle was on the lead lap.
Rusty's on the move,
If this thing goes green flag, the 2 cars...
yeah, he's flying.
Yeah, he's running.
You're right about that.
Yeah, and you can interview Billy Wilburn in Victory Lane. Yeah. No, I know.
Here comes Rusty passing Earnhardt right now.
In fact, we might ought to interview him anyway.
Something's happened to Earnhardt.
He's loose. He's reporting very loose, Randy.
Who's that?
Earnhardt. Ward Burton has taken the lead here at Rockingham. Here's how he and Rusty Wallace got past Dale Earnhardt.
Well, Dale he's fighting this car right now. You see Ward going down on the bottom side. Dale did not even try to fight back there. He just let him go right on the bottom side. Now, Dale is always going to do this. He's going to close in right in the center part of the corner, but watch Ward power off that corner and down the straightaway.
You notice Ward was expecting that move and dropped right to the bottom of the racetrack. Now here's Rusty getting past for second spot.
Well, Mike, when you start getting loose, that's all you can do. You just run as fast as you can and try not to lose too much ground to the leaders. But if you try to run over the limit, you'll spin the car on the racetrack, even with the ability that Earnhardt has.
And Rusty is closing in.
Ward Burton's best finish ever here at Rockingham is 9th. He's got it down well. He's finished 2 races here at Rockingham, 9th both times. Rusty has won 3 of the last 5 races here at Rockingham. So here we go with Rusty catching the youngster in the 22. 33-year-old Ward Burton. 1990 Grand National Rookie of the Year. Began racing go-karts at age 8.
Only 2 drivers have ever won in their first Winston Cup start at Rockingham. Donnie Allison, 1968, Mark Martin, 1989. Ward Burton trying to become the 3rd driver to do that today.
Boy, Rusty's closing in. Ward's very fast. I think he's being extremely careful in traffic right now as he comes up behind Bobby Hillin there. You see him, he's really not forcing the issue to jump down underneath. He wants to make sure they know he's there. He knows he's got a good car, and now he's starting to move by Hillin as they come off turn 2.
I'm sorry, this is Burton's 3rd Winston Cup start here, so he will not extend that record as he goes to victory lane. Rusty Wallace may have something to say about that as they close up on Bobby Hillin. Here comes Rusty.
Well, I'm just watching that 2 car. He's getting tremendous forward bites. The center of the corner is where he is absolutely flying. When he gets back on the throttle, watch him close in as they come up out of the corner here.
He is running. Here he comes.
Wallace on the bottom looking for the lead. Ward Burton has to give him the low side.
Ooh, black on black. Boy, I tell you, I'm beginning to think that black cars maybe just they might have a little edge or something. It just seems if you paint your car black, you start.
Randy?
Well, you know, we talked early, at least Dick Berggren did, about how important the shocks have become, and the Tom Hogue joining the team, the Penske team. Talked to Rusty this morning. He said, we absolutely have the best shock package that I have had in my career here at Rockingham. He said, if we can get some long runs, he said, we're going to win this race. He said, so Robin and Tom Hogue have worked hard on these shocks, and it appears to be paying off. If it goes green flag, he's going to be tough to beat.
You know, I agree with Randy on that, but one thing I do have to remember, he backpedaled to 31st at the first part of this race, and then that great communication between he and the crew chief, Robin Pemberton, they have dialed this baby in as they run along in the race today, and he is just absolutely flying right now.
I'll tell you what that's all about, buddy. Robin said this morning that the way he wants this race to go is one of two ways. First off, what he'd like to have happen is have a bunch of caution flags early so we can work on the car, then get the car right out front, win the race, so we can go off and have dinner tonight at the new diner in Charlotte. There's a new diner there apparently all decked out in stock car kinds of colors. So he's ready to go have a Miller beer and a sandwich. Get ready for that motorcycle ride tomorrow morning.
307 laps complete. Wallace has taken the lead. Ward Burton is second. You're riding in the third place car. Off Mark Martin. Earnhardt is fourth. Labonte is fifth.
Yes. Yep. Hello, Rusty told me the same thing. He said shocks.
Look at Ward come back in here.
Yep.
He's gaining. Look, he's catching him.
He is running well today.
Boy.
This is probably the best Winston Cup race of his life.
Ward
and then some.
Ward would be very smart to just follow him for a while.
Yep.
Clear.
And check him out. That's how you used to have to do with Cale. Cale would get into a groove, and you could stay behind him for a while and study his line and run like he does. But until he caught you, I mean, he just eat you alive.
Look at this. Look at this.
Down the front stretch. He's not gonna make it.
Oh, it won't be there when we get back. Don't worry.
Pam Jam. Pam Jam. Here we go.
Oh, look at this. Look, look.
Here we go.
Yeah, but you wanted me to throw to Randy right in the middle of it. I know. No, I did hear you. I did hear you.
Ward's able to stay down. Rusty's starting to move up on the racetrack.
Good for Ward. All of you who said Ward Burton will just ride a while behind Rusty, go back to the refrigerator. He is challenging hard for the lead.
Well, he seems to be able to turn his car in the center part of the corner and stay down just a little bit lower than Rusty. You see, Rusty's starting to take that higher line coming up out of the corner, and he's losing a little bit of track to him.
But buddy, is he using up more tire by trying to run the bottom?
Well, there's one in trouble right there. That's Derek Cope, and it look. Yeah, I think so, Mike, to answer your question, but it looks like he may have a flat tire on the 12 car.
Remember, Cope got into the wall in one of the very first laps of this race. See what happened here to Derek Cope. He's been in it again up in turn 2 this time.
Look at this. Now, you talk about car control.
He's riding a wild horse there.
Yeah, he saved Bobby Allison about $50,000 in that little deal.
And
Great
Bobby
job.
Hillen just got up into the wall in turn 4. And it comes down the front straightaway. He's okay. Boy, the handling is going away on some of these cars. Not these two.
Ward kind of backed up there. I think maybe his spotter said, you know, a couple of cars are starting to go up towards the wall. There might be something on the racetrack.
The tires are going away, too, at this point. It's been a while.
8th place. Sterling Marlin trying to hold Dick Trickle and Bill Elliott.
That's Hut Strickland in the green car there. He's a pole winner, but he had a wreck early in the race. For those of you that didn't see it, got it backwards into the wall, and he had to replace all the inner panels. He's many laps down right now.
6 laps in arrears. Hut Strickland. This group's 9 seconds behind the race leader. And we're looking at pit stops in about 8 or 10 laps, folks. So let's take another break here so we can bring pit stops to you live under green just a few laps from now.
Thank you. That helped shape that.
Yes, it did. Very nicely.
Yep. Jeff Gordon, you're fixing to go a lap down again. Rusty Wallace is going to eat you alive, pal. And that'll put him 3 back again.
Right. He's in 25th place.
Man, can you believe this?
Something's wrong
His
with it.
life has to be passing in front of his face right now.
Yeah. Well, he's still running. It's not like he's in the wall.
Yeah, he's running good, but not good enough to keep Rusty Wallace
No,
back.
he can't keep
Rusty
up.
will pass him on the outside.
He just can't keep up.
Now, Rusty moved that groove up.
Yeah,
and
he did.
now it's starting to work for him.
I think you're right.
You made a good point.
And you should make that point also when we come back. That now that he's done that.
Well, he had to go up there and probably clean the track some because nobody's really racing up there. Or get himself acclimated to the racetrack up there because he's hauling.
There's something wrong with Gordon. He's just.
Well, his tires go away. He's jumped.
Yep. Could be, man. Could be.
25.
We've seen it.
You know, back in the same lap, all he needs to do is just stay just ahead of the leader and hope for caution. Of course, Earnhardt could run a little better too.
Yeah, right now.
Darrell Waltrip need him.
Yeah. We got to give a call to DW.
You bet. Running in 7th spot.
Yeah, that's a good race. Waltrip and Earnhardt, because Darrell's come back from the abyss.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's pretty far down.
The abyss. Man, I like it.
Pit signs out for Jeff Gordon. Bobby Hillen has just made a stop. Gordon not having the best of days, as now looks like Dick Trickle, Jeremy Mayfield, and Bill Elliott will go at it here. And Darrell Waltrip takes a spot from Dale Earnhardt. Move Waltrip up to 6th on the board.
Not yet. Yeah, he got him. He got him.
Now, DW was a lap down. Remember, in the first 30 laps, he went from 8th to 38th, and he has fought his way back to 6th place.
You know, he knows how to run this racetrack very well, and I'm glad to see him have a good run. He needed one. At Dover, he couldn't even get out of the way.
No.
He was so bad off there, and now he's running quite well.
Jeremy Mayfield just moves past Dick Trickle. That'll put Mayfield into the top 10. As now Trickle battles with Joe Nemechek for 11th.
Trickle's car has obviously gone away underneath him. He had been all the way up to the front of the pack, and he's just dropping positions lap after lap here.
And Jeff Gordon has just come out of the pits, but is he coming back up to speed? Yes, he is. Okay, he'll be all right, but he's now 4 laps down.
Musgrave going to put Trickle away now.
Musgrave off the lead lap. He is make that 2 laps down. 70 to go here at Rockingham. We move on to Phoenix next week, and you'll see that live on TNN. Leader in the pits, Rusty Wallace and Ward Burton both come in. Randy is in Rusty's pit.
Well, we don't have to tell you how critical this pit stop is for both of these teams. Rusty had just radioed the guys and said, guys, just like Buddy, you said, the car is running better in the high groove, plus it's easier on the tires up there. Billy Wilbur not having any problem on the right front. Left side's coming off. Robbins sticks the left front tire on. Billy tightens them up, tightens on the left rear as well. Good pit stop for the 2 teams down the way. Glenn?
Well, Randy, I'm down in the 22 pit. Ward Burton has just come in. The right sides are already on. The left side's going on right now. Great run today for the MB&A Pontiac. He's down and away. Rusty just barely beats him as they go off pit road down here at the end, but it was close. Good pit stop by the MB&A Pontiac.
And up at the Wallace pit, Robin Pemberton walked around and gave attaboys all around. That was the kind of stop they needed under green. Kyle Petty
has stopped out in the middle of pit road. Actually, he was waiting for Terry Labonte to get out of his pit stall before pulling in. Nice move by Kyle. Didn't want to balk Terry. Glenn is in Earnhardt's pit.
And also, Mike, 4 times a little bit of trouble there. The NASCAR official is talking to Andy Petrie. I don't know what it's all about. I'm going to find out. I'll get back to you. It looks like they're going to bring him back in. We'll check this out and get right back to you.
Well, it looked like the official was motioning to hold him. And we'll have to check and see what happened. Now, Kyle Petty out here got himself up and into the wall.
Boy,
while
that's
following
a hard
John Andretti.
hit.
Yes, it was. Smashing pumpkin, our producer says. Bet that car will be silver next week. Well, no, Halloween is next week. Who knows what it'll look like.
I'd paint it back, I think. It's really not becoming.
Well, now you made the point about black cars, how there must be something to this black car thing. Linda called from Rhode Island, or Long Island, said, do the car owners have a say in the color of the car or just the sponsors? You owned a race team.
Sponsors have everything to do with any color. You really don't have a choice. If they said make it green, purple, and red, and you said, I don't think that'll look good, they said, too bad, that's what we're going to do.
Official still talking to Dale Earnhardt's crew. Well, if the sponsor says, we're going to give you $4 million, we'd like the car to be blue, what would you tell them?
Boy, it'd be blue before they got their mouth shut.
Well, Jeremy Mayfield in the red car, Cale Yarborough's RCA machine, is the race leader. As green flag pit stops continue, Mayfield stays out. Going to lead a few laps here. This is going to be one of his best runs of the season. Jeremy's best finish is 8th at Pocono in July. And looks like he'll pit this time as Rusty goes past. Nope, going to stay out there. Whoa!
Look at this. Ward Burton on the bottom, and there goes Rusty Wallace on the outside.
Now, they're back on the lead lap, but just barely. Mayfield had a lap to himself because he is the only lead lap car that has not pitted. Mark Martin almost got into Mayfield on the back straightaway. And Jeremy, I thought he was going to pit this time, but he continues to stay out. If he can catch a caution, there will be just 5 cars on the lead lap because Mark Martin and Terry Labonte have both just gotten by Mayfield.
Boy, I tell you, that's a big gamble at this point, though, because if it stays green, these guys are eating up the real estate. They're half a straightaway ahead of him in just 1 lap.
Yeah, it's a hero or zero move. If you stay out and catch a caution, it's the right strategy. If you stay out and everybody comes around because they've got fresh tires, it could be the wrong one. Now, it was 1992 the last time Cale's car scored 2 top 10 finishes in 1 year. Jimmy Hensley was the driver. Jeremy's looking for his second top 10 this season.
And Earnhardt is still on the racetrack, so whatever it was that NASCAR was concerned about,
let's find out.
Glenn.
Earnhardt is going to come back in, we're told. Let's check with Glenn.
Well, they're saying it's that judgment call again. What we saw at North Wilkesboro, they're saying that lug nuts were left loose, and they're going to bring him back in and have him to tighten the lug nuts, but crew's telling him to keep going. So they're still in discussion right now. There is a major discussion going on down here, guys, right now. I mean, there's 3 NASCAR officials and all of Richard Childress's crew. They're telling Dale to keep going now until NASCAR black flags it. So they're not going to bring him in until they absolutely have to. Andy Petrie is standing by with an air gun to tighten those lug nuts, but they're saying that they are not loose.
There's the black flag right now.
Now he has a couple of laps to obey that. But what bit Ricky Rudd at North Wilkesboro now will bite Dale Earnhardt. Loose lug nuts. They have an inspector assigned to every couple of cars along the pit lane. That is, an inspector covers more than 1 car usually. And one of his jobs is to make sure that all those lug nuts are tight on the pit stops. If one pops off, they determine that that's a safety issue, and they will bring the car in. They did it to Ricky at Wilkesboro. And it's a judgment call only in that if the official sees it, he's to call it. They can't watch everything every time, but if they see it, they are to call it.
Well, Mike, this is tragic because he has 4 laps, and they pull the card on it, and he just rides around from then on. So he'll be coming in right away.
Right now. Earnhardt hauls it off turn 4. Comes in the pit lane. Now the official did try to come around and hold the car for the loose lug nuts before Earnhardt pulled out, but Dale was gone and out of there. So now they're bringing him in to tighten things up. Here's Glenn.
Well, guys, they're saying that the lug nut is off, and they have employed a photographer. Andy Petrie took a camera with him, and there is no lug nut off of it. The crew was exactly right. They took a camera out there with them to take a picture of it. There was no lug nut off of it, and that's why NASCAR brought it back in. They're saying it wasn't loose, that it fell off, and it did not.
Well, as we watched in last night's World Series game, there were some called strikes that from a different angle were balls and vice versa.
Wow.
And you have to trust the judgment of the officials to do their job as best they can. That was the call that was made. And this time it went against Earnhardt.
You do the best you can do.
That's it. So, up front and for the lead. Ward Burton once again has it. He's up high and Rusty wants it.
Rusty's got that lower line right now.
Turn 2 in the wall.
Elton Sawyer.
Kind of ruffled the Owl's feathers there, and he's going to be able to continue around and get to the pits. Sterling Marlin and Darrell Waltrip battle for 6th place.
Well, Darrell's really taking the tempo up here. Look at that car, how well it's handling right around the base of the racetrack, and he's got good straightaway speed in that car also. He's giving Sterling Marlin quite a run right now.
Another young kid, 48-year-old Waltrip.
He has looked great today. He really has. And for those who say he can't run well at the end of the race, let me tell you what, we are 340 laps into this event, and Darrell Waltrip is running like a 22-year-old. Doing a great job out there today.
Running up front, that'll happen.
Yep.
They're all young in the lead. That's Bentley Warren, your buddy.
Yeah.
Earnhardt is now 16th. He is 1 lap down after that stop to check the lug nuts.
This is for 6th spot.
Everything's all clear.
Darrell Waltrip at the 17 for Sterling Marlin.
And in the background, Darrell Waltrip's radio as they clear Kyle Petty, who's just come out of the pits. Leaders coming up onto traffic.
And Jeff Gordon again.
Yep, see how Ward Burton handles this. Glenn Jarrett is with Richard Childress.
Richard, judgment call made there, but there was no infraction.
Yeah, we had 5 lug zones. We told the inspector he had us come in. It just cost us about 10 or 12 possessions. We're going to let NASCAR handle it. We can't do nothing about it right now. We got to keep racing. It's their call. They'll make the call after the race. Let's hope they work on it.
Well, I tell you what, guys, I am amazed because they're in the midst of a championship chase. How cool and calm. There was a lot of discussion going on, but Richard Childress and Andy Peavy absolutely were 2 of the calmest people down here, and I'm really impressed with the way they've handled this thing. This is a class operation.
Well, what it sounds like is that Childress is going to appeal the call as they split Kyle Petty for lead cars battle. Up behind Dick Trickle, Ward Burton. What a move he made to clear that pile of traffic.
That's just what you were talking about a while ago. Ward Burton knows 2 speeds today, wide open or stopped, and he is flying at the moment.
What it sounds like is Richard Childress plans to appeal and get NASCAR to give them back the lap they lost, making that stop to put them back on the lead lap. I don't know.
And there's the appeal underway right now.
Tough call. Kenny Schrader comes pit side, and he's had a tough day. 345 laps complete. Just under 50 to go, racing at the Rock. We'll be right back with you live on TNN.
We can't say. I mean, that's not our call. We're not in the rule division.
No.
So
I mean,
whatever happens, happens.
They do the best they can.
Yep.
I've yet to meet a perfect human being, except Mike.
Well, I was fixing to say, my pencils don't have erasers on them. I can tell you that.
I hope, and I'm not going to say it on the air, but I hope after all this crap's over that we go to the glueless lug nuts for next year, the spring-loaded things or something.
Not a chance.
I know.
Too modern.
Too what?
Too modern. Too different.
Too modern.
Not too modern. It would. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't end a lot of this. But
yeah,
this is tough. If you pull Earnhardt in, he doesn't have any loose.
Wilkesboro Terry Labonte's got 2 off, and you don't pull him in. I mean, it's
Don't want a
that's
black
tough.
and orange car, I can tell you.
It's tough.
That thing's hit everything but the lottery today.
Yeah, he has. But the trouble is, it smells bad because here, one of your point contenders on the lead lap, the other guy's 4 laps down, and some people are going to say, well, let's bring the other guy in.
And Mike just getting a mess right here.
Like right here.
This has got a lot of potential. A lot of potential.
Not for another Pam Jam right here.
Look at you got Rusty right on Ward.
Yep, if one of them touches anything, it's all over. Mark Martin will look like the smartest guy in the world.
Today's exclusive coverage of the AC Delco 400 on TNN is brought to you by Napa. We keep America running. And by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Boy, there's going to be a big collective sigh of a whole bunch of lungs here as people get their breath. Ward Burton and Rusty Wallace again just ran through an unbelievable pack of traffic.
Dick Berggren said that has great possibility of being a bad wreck here.
3 deep, and they managed to get through that somehow or another. Just a testimony to the skill of the drivers, because that was extraordinary. Ward Burton came in on top of all of that in the 22 car. Never has won a Winston Cup race. Looking for his first win ever here. Yeah. Well, never so far. He will. Whether today is the day or not, he will.
I think he will. Let's show you what happened there in break. Look at this pack of traffic. Robert Presley, Steve Grissom, just ahead of the leaders. They're trying to get by Mayfield, and whoops, up you go.
That is no man's land up there, as high as Ward Burton was with the 22 car.
Yeah, that's the Harry Gant groove, and Harry's retired.
Yeah, so it's all...
And so is that groove.
Yeah, so that's all loose tire debris up there and all kinds of things you wouldn't want to be anywhere near, no matter where you were running, but running for the lead, running for the win.
I'm watching Rusty Wallace. He's starting to use that high groove to an advantage again. He's letting the car drift in, kind of diamond in the center part of the corner, and he is down the straightaway. He is so strong that that's where he'll make his move. It looks like he's gaining on Burton right at the moment.
Yeah, Rusty's done a lot of his passing coming off turn number 4. Getting a run, dropping to the bottom, and coming off the corner.
Mike, the other thing he's doing, he's really giving his tires a break by going up there and not pinching the car through the center part of the corner. When he goes up, he's really got an advantage right now.
He passed Derek Cope and straight arrow forward. Rusty right there. Look at Rusty's gloves as he turns the wheel, takes an extra little bite out of the corner there in the center, and then comes off the turn.
Well, if it comes down to 10 laps to go and there's a lot of lap over traffic in front, Ward Burton looks unbeatable to me. I tell you what, he makes a move today that absolutely sets you right up in the seat.
And that are a little surprising given his level of experience versus Rusty's. He has made the right move on each one of these packs of traffic.
Mike, the one thing that I will tell you, anybody out there is a good race car driver. They don't get in the Winston Cup by being a bad race car driver. They're a champion somewhere before they ever come here. So you don't just walk in here and say, I want to be a Winston Cup driver. You work your way in.
But the guy that's running in second spot has won 41 times. This is his 360th start. And there is a lot of skill, a lot of experience there that Ward Burton just doesn't have. 35 to go.
What Ward does have right now is the lead.
Yeah.
And a great race car and a good crew, you know.
Yes.
They come in there with Rusty a while ago, and everybody knows that Rusty Wallace has a great crew. They come in together, they left together. So that's a good testament for Bill Davis and his crew.
All right, John from Illinois wants to know, why don't they run carbon fiber brake rotors like Indy cars and Formula 1 cars do?
Dollars.
They cost too much money.
Yeah,
right.
NASCAR has done a really good job of keeping the cost of this series down, and there are a lot of technological advances, if you will, that could be on these cars that NASCAR has just said no, they want to keep it affordable.
Exactly. Up front, driver Ward Burton, car owner Bill Davis, crew chief Chris Hussey are all looking for their first Winston Cup win. Will today be the day? Stay tuned.
DW in 7th.
DW on the walk. I'll tell you who's slipping back. The Earn.
Yeah. Well, he was in a bunch of traffic,
and
too.
so is Sterling. Sterling's run completely out of chassis right now.
Van Trickle down a lap now.
Oh, my. Oh, man. You know not.
Bet they won't do that again.
You made a good point a while ago, too. You have to use your own judgment, and he thought it was off.
That's right. No, that's right.
You can't hang him on a tree.
No.
You know?
He's doing his job as best he can. Just like that dummy umpire in the Seattle-New York series kept called Mattingly out on strikes in the last inning. If that was a strike.
Ooh, don't say that.
Don't sing, Debbie.
Ugh. This will make this ugly.
Okay. Also, we've been handed a thing on the NMPA 900 number to vote the favorite driver. Do you want to do anything with that?
I don't believe he's smoking. Rusty'd be squealing.
Today's exclusive coverage of the AC Delco 400 on TNN is brought to you by Pep Boys Automotive Super Center.
Welcome back to Rockingham. Mike Joy with Buddy Baker and Dick Berggren. Glenn Jarrett and Randy Pemberton on pit road today. The leader is Ward Burton. Here is Dale Earnhardt presently. Earnhardt is 14th, one lap down after being called back into the pit to replace a missing lug nut. It wasn't missing. Glenn, what was the story?
Well, Mike, the deal on it was with the Richard Childress' crew paint their lug nuts on the face of them day-glow orange. And they had one lug nut. You can see on the tires here, if you can see this, how that the orange day-glow paint, you can see those real easily. Well, one lug nut was glued on that wasn't painted. And so when the gun came off of it, the official was looking at it. He didn't see the day-glow paint. You can see how easily he thought that the lug nut was not on there. I mean, it's easy to see how the mistake was made. Costly mistake, but he was looking for that orange paint. All 5 lug nuts were on there. 4 of them were painted orange. 1 of them wasn't.
Wow. Thanks, Glenn. 25 laps to go. Ward Burton looking for win number 1, just as Rick Mast was last year. Earnhardt won it last year. That won't happen today, but Rusty Wallace, Mark Martin, Terry Labonte, or Jeff Burton might.
Well, I'm watching Ward Burton right now, and he's stretching the lead on Rusty Wallace at the moment. I don't know what he's doing. When he gets in traffic, he absolutely flies, though.
His crew chief, Chris Huss, who's been named the Western Auto Mechanic of the race. Fitting honor. Wonder who'll get the Goodies Headache Award. We got a lot of candidates for that one. Bobby Hamilton's one of them. He's back on pit road for right side tires on the STP Pontiac. It'd be easier to list who has not found their way into the wall or into another car today.
Well, Dale Earnhardt's not running. I don't know who he is.
Right.
You know. Here comes Rusty. Now, in real heavy traffic, it seems that Ward Burton can move away from Rusty just a little bit. Rusty said in an interview that I did earlier today, patience is a very, very important part of running here at Rockingham. So maybe he's using a little patience right now and letting Ward open up holes for him as they go through traffic.
Ricky Rudd a lap down.
Pontiac looking for their 4th win in the last 6 races here at Rockingham. Rusty's won here 3 times. Caution is on the speedway. As John Andretti comes down pit road, what happened?
This will be one very critical set of pit stops for sure. Who will get out fastest? There it is.
That's the caution? A drink bottle? No.
Man.
That's way down. That was tossed out of somebody coming out of the pits. That's way down against the fence. But the caution is out.
getting ready to come in this time around for sure.
Well, we're still trying to get word on why the caution flag has flown here at lap 372. What a blow this is to Ward Burton and Bill Davis.
And now we're going to see how good those two pit crews are.
Hey, they're waving the flag there, the red flag that pit road is closed at the moment. So they'll come back around before they're able to stop.
Give the
Let
crews
me check this.
That'll give the crews a few more moments to get really nervous.
Well, I'm not sure if this is the reason for the caution, but during this caution, they are giving Dale Earnhardt his lap back. I'm not sure if this is unprecedented, because while it does correct the penalty that was given to the Earnhardt team, that was perhaps a mistaken call. Does it not penalize the cars running in the front positions? Because now, if there's pit stops, and surely there will be, they'll lose their positions. This is a very odd set of circumstances. Here with 20 laps to go. So Earnhardt will go into line, and that's why pit road is closed, to give him back his position. Now they're telling him to move in behind Darrell Waltrip in 8th place. Now that's ahead of some of the cars on the lead lap. Well, this is very surprising, to say the least. It will be a single file restart, and nobody will be allowed to pit. So that answers my question. It does not take away the advantage that Ward Burton, Rusty Wallace, and the other teams have built up on the racetrack. It does take away distance. Well, does it correct one problem and create another?
I don't think so, Mike. I think what they done, they corrected a problem they had on the racetrack, and everybody got a little rest, and everybody's got the same amount of wear on their tires. Now they go at it.
And the leaders don't have any traffic at all in front of them. They can just contend with each other from here forward, at least for a while.
Bit of jostling for lineup positions as the lead lap cars try to get up into line in the back straightaway. And they're going to hold the caution out for one more lap to make sure everyone is properly in line.
Interesting call. It will be very interesting to see the letters to the editors in this week's papers. How will the fans view this one?
Okay, I see. You see the guy right down in this turn down here with the flag. That means the pit road is closed. It's a red flag with stripes on it. Uh-oh. Now that's...
Earnhardt is saying that in moving up with the lead lap cars, he has gotten a flat tire and needs to pit. Wow. John Andretti has come in.
Jeff Bodine also pitted.
And Joe Nemechek. Well,
all this while the pits are closed.
It gets curiouser and curiouser. And we're on one to go once more. So now, for pitting with one lap to go and with pit road closed, Ricky Rudd has now come in. And Randy's up in Rusty's pit.
Hard to say what this team thinks about it. Rusty said the last set of tires was junk. It looked like he couldn't do anything with Ward. One guy we didn't talk about was Mark, and he was coming. But it's confusion down here on pit road. Teams want to pit, others don't. And they're getting ready to go back to green. I don't think Rusty can do anything with the 22 with the set of tires. We'll see now.
That's Bill Davis, who was yelling at the NASCAR official. No start.
Oh, my.
They did not restart. That's Bill Davis in the MBNA suit.
Not a happy camper. You see him shaking his head no.
And Jack Rouch, I see right down there with the fedora.
Steve Meal also expressing his displeasure.
And apparently the caution was waived to correct the Earnhardt situation, get him back in line with the lead lap cars after being penalized mistakenly. There's probably no easy way to sort that out.
Well, they're going to be talking about this one for years. Years and years.
And it looks like a number of the teams. Here's Dale Jarrett on pit road. Pit road is still closed, and we are still under caution. We'll be back and try to sort this out for you right after these messages.
I can't believe what I'm watching.
I can't either.
Huh?
I mean, they had
This
a problem,
is
tried to fix it.
satellite
and
people. I'm telling you.
It didn't work. It
Whoa.
just didn't work.
Well, if you solve one problem, you just
Look at
create
this.
15
I
more.
mean, look at this. They should not allow anybody to stop. Period.
Okay. But now,
Track position.
wait a minute. All right, they're going to open. Let me listen to Gale. They're going to open pit road. Okay, that
makes
finally
sense. Yes.
makes some sense. We're back with you live in what may be an unprecedented situation here at Rockingham. NASCAR has now opened pit road. Any team that wishes to may come in and make a pit stop. And because of the way all of this is sorted out, what they have said is that when cars come off pit road, they will go back to the position in which they were running at the time the caution flag was flown. Now, every team has gotten the chance to take on tires and make a chassis adjustment and make their car the best they can. So that's good. The teams that stopped, including Jeff Bodine when pit road closed, will get their position back. That's good. Earnhardt gets back on the lead lap because he was unfairly penalized. That's good. The questionable thing here is that now people aren't running the way they were running when that caution flag came out to sort all this out. So Ward Burton will be in the lead, but does he have a winning race car at this point? Rusty Wallace will be in second. No longer has that disadvantage with the odd set of tires. They'll line up the field, and we'll see what happens and get comments from all the folks on this broadcast about it right after this.
What are you going to write in your book?
I'm just trying to make sense of this, and
you're not going to touch it.
Okay, that's great.
That's the one we want.
I think that's exactly the guy we want to hear from.
Now, they did race out of pit road. Are they going to make them go back by?
Well,
they raced out of pit road.
Yeah,
right there they go now.
Gale said they're
lining them up, just like Gale said.
This is going to be like short track.
Oh, watch out.
Where the starter comes down to line everybody up.
Uh-oh. Could happen. Are we still counting laps?
That's what we're told. 12 cars in the lead lap. There they are.
22. 2, 6, 5, 8, 4, 17.
What a day in the neighborhood. You know, I just can't wait to hear how they're describing this next door.
We were worried about a 4.5-hour race.
Look at this up front. We've got 4 wide here.
Glenn, get on your skates.
Hurry up. All right, who am I going to first?
I'm sorry. Just knock me out of the way.
Okay.
I get up there.
Okay, I'm ready. We're going to come. Who's looking back?
Unbelievable.
There is a thing.
I'll tell you.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's on the flag stand. Very good, Gale. But
who said?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's only 13 laps to go. Yeah. Okay. No, I'll take yours, but. But the thing is, they better pull them around here and stop them and line them up. Maybe
that would be, I think, the thing to do.
Now,
right
why
now.
is Lake Spam up there?
Is Earnhardt still a lap down?
No.
Why is he on the right-hand side then?
Can't get in line. Nobody let him in.
Oh, man. They got to stop this thing and just line them up.
That's exactly right.
It's a beautiful fall day here in Rockingham.
There's going to be this. What lap to caution?
Man.
Welcome back to Rockingham. For 10 laps, they've been trying to sort this out now. And the man who owns the car that was leading when NASCAR dropped the caution to realign the field is with Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, as you said, Bill Davis, one of the nicest guys in all of auto racing, one of the nicest guys I know, and an unusual, even bizarre set of circumstances, Bill, does this call at letting everybody change them, lining them back up the way they are, does that make things right?
No, I don't think you can make it right. I mean, I sympathize with the 3 because they got a real raw deal. but I've never seen NASCAR in the middle of a race correct or wrong. I don't see how you do that, and I don't think they've done it now. You know, we were feeling real good about our chances. There was a lot of racing left, and there's still a lot of racing left, but we liked where we were. You know, guys have done a great job on the on pit row all day, and Ward, of course, has done a wonderful job driving the car, and we were feeling real good about his first opportunity to win a race. But you know, however it ends up, we've had a good day.
Yeah, but you always take a chance when you change tires. You never know. You might get a mismatch.
Oh, yeah, and we've done that all day. We've been off and on our tires. If you remember, we went way back. We lost 8 or 9 seconds to the leader one time with a bad set of tires. Good tires, they just didn't fit the car real well right then, and we may be in that situation again. You know, we had a real good set of tires on the car, and we're feeling good about our chances, and I don't know, it's tough.
Well, it is tough, but I tell you what, this man's handling it with class and grace. These guys are just hoping that this set of tires is as good as the one they had on before. We're going to find out here shortly, I hope.
Thanks, Glenn. They had the black flag board with Rusty's number lit up. Randy, what's that about?
Hard to say, guys. Now they have stuck the 10 and the 9 in between the 22 and the 2. I haven't gotten a clear understanding as to why yet. I'll try here momentarily.
Well, Randy, the 10 would be on the tail end of the lead lap, but I'm not sure about the 9 car.
Mike, that might have been the way they were running just as the caution come out. Those 2 cars might have been in between Rusty and the 22 car of Ward Burton.
They are now lined up. Gail Connor, who lap charts every lap for every TNN race, tells us the cars are aligned on the racetrack in single file exactly as they were running when the caution was waved. Those 2 lapped cars of Ricky Rudd and Lake Speed were between Ward Burton and Rusty Wallace. So it appears to us that NASCAR has done everything they could to recreate the situation on the track at the moment the caution flag was waved. 1 to go. Down finger restart means it'll be single file, and now there will be just 9 laps left.
Wow. I guarantee you, I bet Ward Burton's heart's beating like every time that motor turns over, he's getting boom, 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 boom. He's got to be excited, and that was the best way to redo this. They couldn't let them just get bumper to each other like that. They had to recreate the situation just as it was.
Bill France is in the NASCAR booth. So is Mike Helton, Vice President for Competition, Gary Nelson, Winston Cup Director, Ray Hill, who runs the Busch Series. And they have worked this scenario out to try to be as fair as possible to everybody. Randy?
Well, as you know, early on, Earnhardt's team asked if they could lead a lap to Rick Mast. I think that was obliged, possibly not. Here's what happened. The 2 team has asked the 10 car if they may move over. Absolutely not. They're not going to do it. So Rusty's in for some trouble here. Ward could go to victory lane easily now.
We have a restart coming down the front straightaway right now.
And Earnhardt did lead a lap. Green flag, Ward Burton taking off in quest of what he hopes will be his first Winston Cup win. He's got to run 9 circuits to do it. Rusty Wallace pulls down on Lake Speed. Lake Speed moves over. Rusty gets past.
Rusty did not get a good restart there, Mike. Not at all.
He did not.
He was not on Lake Speed's bumper, did not take off well, and there's a good gap now. You just see it right there in your screen between the leader, Ward Burton, and Rusty Wallace.
You got to feel for Rusty, but you got to feel for Ward Burton and Bill Davis. They were leading this race handily with 30 to go when this correction caution came out. Mark Martin rides in the 3rd spot. Terry Labonte is 4th. Jeff Burton is 5th.
Wow.
Boy, Ward Burton is flying right at the moment. He got such a great start. He has about a 7 or 8 car length lead over Ricky Rudd, who's currently showing 2nd on the racetrack, but he's back way down in the rundown.
Rudd is 1 lap down in 13th position. Here's Ward Burton, the leader. His brother Jeff is 5th. And John Burton, their dad's going to be one happy fella today.
And I bet Ward Burton is holding his breath as if every lap he is running right now is a qualifying lap. He is trying to put together the best laps of his entire racing career. Concentration at the foremost.
2-second lead. His car owner, Bill Davis, got into racing thanks to Mark Martin's dad, Julian. He says, you need a hobby, you need a race car. So he got a Busch team together. Mark drove the car. Mark got out. He said, there's a young fella you ought to put in this car, Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon drove for Bill Davis. Jeff Gordon left for Hendrick. Bobby Labonte drove for Bill Davis. Bobby Labonte left for Joe Gibbs. Randy LaJoie, and now Ward Burton drives for Bill Davis, and he's going to try to drive it to victory lane, and everybody in racing would like to see Bill Davis get there.
Amen. And I tell you what, what, they're tussling for positions right behind Ward Burton. He jumped out to a substantial lead, but just behind Rusty Wallace is Mark Martin, and he's closing in. So they're fighting all the way around the racetrack right now.
Sterling and Dale battling hard with 4 to go. That's for 6th place. Now that's your 3rd place and 2nd place men in the points. And just ahead of them, Mark Martin, who's 4th in the points.
This is inside of Mark Martin's car as we start down the front straightaway. Right there's the flag stand. As he goes down, you see he's pulling in just a little bit. Inch by inch, he's gaining on Rusty Wallace.
3 to go. Elton Sawyer takes the Hooters forward to the garage.
Mark Martin is 3rd, Rusty Wallace 2nd.
Ward Burton got his first Busch Series win right here at Rockingham.
Boy, oh boy, I tell you what, this is going to be a great victory. I don't see any way Ward Burton can lose. Rusty Wallace is out there, and you see right behind Mark Martin there is the Iceman himself, Terry Labonte, moving in, trying to make that spot.
That's 3rd place. So it comes down to a shootout, a competition caution to correct an errant penalty, and folks, it's going to turn out okay. Ward Burton with a long jump on the field, white flag for the young driver from South Boston, Virginia. 33 years old in the MB&A Pontiac. Rusty Wallace in 2nd. Earnhardt and Sterling Marlin got together in turn 2. They're okay. Off turn 4 for Bill and Gail Davis, for Chris Hussey, that MB&A Pontiac team. Ward Burton scores his first Winston Cup win. And out of turn 4, Darrell Waltrip gets hard into the wall, and the rest of the field gets by. He made contact perhaps with Jeff Gordon. What a wild finish to a day that Dick Berggren started out saying had been bizarre so far. And it ended on the same note.
Wow. DW looks like he's okay. He's moving around in the car.
Oh, and Darrell had a great race going. He was up in the top 6. Gordon comes around 3 laps down. He finishes, holds the point lead, and Glenn Jarrett's with Bill Davis.
Well, congratulations, Bill. I'm going to quote William Shakespeare. All's well that ends well.
Man, I tell you, it was tough there for a while. I mean, I don't know. You know, I guess it ended up all right. I mean, you know, I don't know if everybody else agrees, but I do. You know, real proud of Ward Burton, all these guys, Chris Hussey, you know, real proud of them. You know, they did a real great job. Chris, a great crew chief. Ward Burton, what can you say? I think he's going to be as tough as anybody in the garage, and they've got a great future together.
I certainly think so, too. We're going to let them celebrate. We'll move down to victory lane. What a great day for Bill and Gail Davis, and also for Ward Burton. Man, this is a happy crowd down here.
Well, there's one fellow who's not so happy. Darrell Waltrip going back to the garage at a furious pace. Let's show you what happened to DW. Now, Jeff Gordon had just gotten past Derek Cope and Morgan Shepherd for position, or was trying to move on Shepherd, and gets right into the back of Darrell.
4 cars all together there.
Mike, that looked like Morgan Shepherd and Darrell might have made a little contact, and Jeff Gordon come along there and got into DW, but it really didn't look like Jeff Gordon started the whole thing.
Buddy, we'll try to take another look at it, see if we can get it earlier up, and see if there was an initial contact. But Darrell's car is used up.
Big wreck. He had been running an 8th spot. Never made it to the start-finish line. Almost.
Randy Pemberton's with Dale Earnhardt.
Well, Andy Petrie asking where we finished. Dale Earnhardt getting ready to climb out of the Good Ranch Chevy. We'll get a word with him here momentarily. Dale Earnhardt, kind of a bizarre call there. They said you lost a lug nut. Didn't happen. You guys protested. What did you think about that? We've got Dale Earnhardt. Yeah, what'd you think of the call?
That was a bad call on the inspector's part, not NASCAR's. NASCAR tried to rectify it by throwing a caution, putting us back in the lead lap. And what they should have done at that point is let everybody pit in sequence and never have to come out of the pits. Would have been the way they should have lined up. But they got sort of mixed up, so they sort of had to adjust things. And I was comfortable going behind the 17. I was a lap down behind the 17 when the caution came out. So that's better than nothing. Let Richard and NASCAR take it. But,
Okay, good event for you anyway, Dale. Glenn Jarrett, Victory Lane. Glenn.
Okay, Randy, Ward Burton is removing the steering wheel. You can watch him take the glasses off. We've got, of course, Bill Broderick talking to him right now. His wife Tabitha right behind him. The kids want to hug him, want to kiss him. We're going to let him get a cold drink of Gatorade. Take his time getting out of here. I can see the adrenaline racing right now. We're going to slip by here and get a microphone. He's going to get a big kiss. Going to get a big kiss from Tabitha first. Been waiting a long time for this. Absolute jubilation down here, guys. The people from MBNA, Bill and Gail Davis, the crew chief, Chris Hussey, everybody excited. Ward's still trying to catch his breath. We're going to get him out of the car right now. Here he comes. Okay, Ward, first of all, man, I've known you a long time. Congratulations, but what a bizarre finish.
Thanks, Glenn. I tell you, I don't know what was going on the caution, but man, this car's been running great, and it's run great all year since I got in it, and I'm just tickled to be a part of the team, and I'd like to thank all the guys with Chevrolet and MBA for putting me in this car.
Well, I want to ask you a question now. I know that of the conversation that was going on between you and the crew chief and Bill about what was going on, why they're doing this, what's going on, so forth. But was it hard for you to keep focused, hard for you to keep telling yourself, man, I got to be calm, particularly on that restart? You couldn't take a chance to miss a shift.
No, you're right. I tell you, I got a lot of motor on that hood that got me off on that restart. But we had some tires that make us tight, some make us loose. One time we had a right rear going down, then we over-adjusted to compensate for it. But right there at the end, Chris Uppy, Clyde Booth, Bill, all of them just gave me a nice piece. I mean, the car was like a Busch car. It was on the rail. All right,
you had to really feel good about the way things were right there at the end. You were racing some of the best in the business. Rusty Wallace, those kind of guys, and you beat them.
I got one of the best teams. That makes me look good.
Okay, we're going to let him celebrate, man. I'm going to get out of here. They're getting ready to throw some more water. Mike?
I'll tell you, Glenn, they call Terry Labonte the Iceman. This guy is dry ice. Is he cool under pressure or what? Ward Burton goes to victory lane after a bizarre day at Rockingham.
Time to talk about that when we come back.
Yes.
How much time we have?
Oh, yes.
15 minutes. That's all? 15? That ain't bad. Can we get a replay of that thing with Darrell Waltrip?
They said they didn't have it any earlier.
Well, it looked like Jeff was way back and just come up
yeah,
and whopped him.
It was already going before Jeff hit him.
Yeah.
He may have been mad at Jeff,
that's what
Jeff was innocent.
I think that's where Waltrip was going after the 21, what he was doing.
Yeah. If we can talk to Darrell, that would kind of be good. Be a good thing.
How many points did Earnhardt gain?
He now trails by 165, so he gained 40 points, which is not enough. He had to gain 69 points every race.
It ain't over, boys.
No, but I mean, from what we said at the start of the race, he would had to gain an average of 69 points every race.
He got a big piece of it.
Well, only got 4. No.
It wouldn't be a good championship if you didn't have to fight for it.
Who?
We have two.
Oh, binoculars. Somebody wake up Steve Stum.
We have some talent scouts up here.
Steve Stum, tri-oval alert.
He found her.
Yes, Steve. Very good. I could count. I knew I could count on you, Steve. On the ISO, guys, right there.
Oh, yeah. Terribly.
Yes. Love that ISO. Am I doing pit crew first? I'm sorry. Thank you. Ward Burton has scored his first Winston Cup victory. Rusty Wallace comes home second. Mark Martin is third and moves to third in the points. Terry Labonte is fourth, and Jeff Burton completes the top 5. Sterling Marlin is sixth. Dale Earnhardt is seventh. Ricky Craven moves up to eighth with the Darrell Waltrip crash. Ninth is Joe Nemechek, and 10th is Bill Elliott. The Pit Crew of the Race Award is brought to you by Cold Filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm. Glenn?
Well, Mike, you were talking about what a cool customer Ward Burton is. Another guy pretty cool and also successful today is young crew chief Chris Hussey. Chris, on behalf of Miller Genuine Draft, we're presenting you and your guys with the Pit Crew Award for the AC Delco 400. Now, Chris has kind of removed himself from the celebration a little bit here, just kind of taking stock of things. What, you can't believe it yet, or what?
Well, it'll probably sink in tomorrow. I've been to this thing a couple of times, but you cherish every time. I just got my own special way of enjoying it, and I'll go home tonight and sit down with the family and enjoy it a little more.
You guys had to adjust on the car a lot today, but you were always able to get it back up front, particularly when it counted most.
Yeah, that's probably where we messed up. The times that we would go backwards, the times that we got back in the pack is when we did make an adjustment. About halfway through the race, Ward said, let's just put it back exactly like we had it yesterday afternoon, the very first set of tires, and leave it alone, because everything we did seemed to really mess it up. So we just put it back just like it was and kept bolting on tires, and he kept driving the wheels off of it.
Did you think that last set of tires, were you pretty sure that it would be similar to those that had gotten you back up front?
Yeah, we had worked real hard on it, and you know, Ward, he kept questioning us to make sure there's the same, and I assured him there's the same. Even if there was, I'd assured him there's the same. But he stood up in the seat and stepped up to the challenge and did what he had to do. He made us all look good.
Well, this whole crew, whole team, particularly led by Chris Hussey, stepped up to the challenge today. Congratulations again, guys. Great job.
Thank you very much, Glenn.
Today's RCA Pit Strategy Award brought to you by RCA, changing entertainment again. Jeff Burton's crew chief, Donnie Richardson, is the winner of that award. Our congratulations to Donnie Richardson and the whole Stavola Brothers team. They've had a great run here today. A Burton sweep, or a Burton book ending the top 5, first and 5th today. Well, Glenn quoted Shakespeare. I quote Mark Twain. Always do right. This will gratify some people and astonish the rest. I think NASCAR did right today.
Did Mark Twain really say that?
Yes, he really did. Yes, he really said that.
Did he? All right.
Wow. Mark Twain? Geez.
Hey.
Booth woman.
Oh man. Well, we have to. I know we got folks here. We probably need to do a little roundtable and reflect on what just happened
Burton
here,
finished.
Pretty
Where did Jeff Burton finish?
5th.
He's standing outside Victory Lane here. You want to talk to him?
Well, yeah.
He's on with John Kernan right now. So
when we get ready to go, if you want Rusty, he'll run right out.
I understand that. He's in the middle of an interview panel. I'm not going to do it and knock him down.
He is within shot of us.
Okay.
I know he's not.
Who we want first?
Listens.
I'll do
They're
that.
through. They're through. No problem.
Dun, dun.
He really said that.
He did say it. I heard
promise you.
We knew that he said it. All the way.
He said it.
Who, Mark?
All right. Who do you want first?
Okay.
First and 5th.
Pretty good.
First. Sylvester.
What a day.
Is this Schrader walking across?
Yeah, it's Kenny. Kenny and Ann.
Yeah, he's on his way to, he's leaving today to go to the SEMA show.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're flying out right now.
Okay.
From the drag strip.
Welcome back to Rockingham, where Ward Burton stands at Victory Lane, and his brother Jeff posted a top 5 finish today. Let's talk to the younger of the Burton brothers.
Well, Mike, the first person that I ran into when I came down the ramp from Victory Lane was Jeff, come to congratulate older brother, and he did a pretty good job, but you guys had a great day, too.
Well, we did. Obviously, he had a lot better day than we did, but we'll take a 1st and a 5th for the two of us. Maybe we'll swap them off next week or at Atlanta, but I'm real proud of them. I'm real proud of my team. We both had a good day. That was this race will go down as one of the craziest ones in history, and they were good enough to win. So you'll hear a lot of stuff about, well, Rusty would have won, but the 22 car was good enough to win. And that's the way it worked out. That's probably the way it should have worked out.
Well, I want to warn you before you go up into Victory Lane there, your father is not doing too well right now. I mean, he's happy, but I've never seen him look so dazed. He is so excited.
I'm sure he is. You can imagine my whole family started watching us race go-karts when we were probably 3 feet tall. So it's to
to be here in Winston Cup racing, to see one of us win and one of us finish 5th on the same day in our 2nd year of Winston Cup racing is a pretty big accomplishment. And I can tell you one thing, I know that there's going to be a real big party in Virginia this week, so I know Brian, my brother, he's already partying like hell, so we're going to have a good time.
Well, we're going to let him go do that right now. This young man will be in victory lane before too very long also. Randy?
Rusty Wallace has come from his hauler. Rusty, obviously involved in one of the most bizarre races in NASCAR history. You ended up finishing 2nd. How did you see that thing unfold in the last few laps under the caution and pitting and so forth?
Gosh, I really don't know how it was unfolding. It was a tough one. You know, first of all, let me say, I really want to congratulate Ward for his first win. He deserved it. He really had a great, fast car, and, you know, I'm not going to let what happened overshadow his victory, because I know what my first victory felt like. And, man, I would hate to have something overshadowed. So, bottom line, whether it's right or wrong, he won the race, and I'm proud for him. I think all these fans are proud for him. It was good to see a Pontiac win today. I wish my Ford could have won, but I think NASCAR will go through all the rulings and the scoring and all kind of stuff and try to figure that out. And to tell you the truth, I think it's better that I just kind of step aside and let them duke it out right now and see what happens. Yeah, I'd love to win the race, and I led a lot of laps today, and the car ran super, but I just like to thank all my sponsors, Mobil Oil, Miller Brewing Company, Mead Paper Company, Fleetwood, Goodyear, and all the guys that participate, Mobil and Bosch. Neat deal, but a bizarre race, no doubt about that, but it was a good one, and a good guy won, so we'll see what happens.
Your car was a little better on longer runs. If you were able to line up behind Ward, could you have done anything with him?
I think so. I mean, Jeff Thousand, my new chassis man, really had the car handling, and Mike Agee and Paul Vanderline and Bert Schaffner and Steve Triplett and all the guys, Lee back at the shop, man, they just had some good power for me today, so we know everybody knew it was a new team for us this week, and I think we showed we can still win races, so it was a good deal. I'm proud of all the new people.
Congratulations on a good run, Rusty.
Rusty Wallace ends up 2nd today. What a wild day of racing here at the Rock. Well, let's show you a comparison of Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt's season so far. Gordon with more wins. They're about equal in top 10s. Jeff's led more races, and he's had one more DNF, and his lead drops from 205 to 165. Earnhardt picked up 40 points on Jeff Gordon today. We said at the top of the show he needed to pick up an average of 69 points each race for them to end up locked up at the end of Atlanta. So 2 races to go. Next week we'll be with you from Phoenix, but stay tuned. We'll be right back. Head of Sterling Marlin. Here's the rest of the top 10. Terry and Bobby Labonte with Ted Musgrave in 7th. Bill Elliott, Ricky Rudd. Michael Waltrip tied with Bobby Hamilton. Then Dale Jarrett, Morgan Shepherd, and Derek Cope. Jeff Bodine, Kenny Schrader, Darrell Waltrip, John Andretti, Brett Bodine would go to the Waldorf and the NASCAR banquet. And the payoff would extend down through Dick Trickle. Ward Burton moving up to 22nd in the points today. He came in here 25th. More from Rockingham live after this. Earnhardt, Ricky Craven, Joe Nemechek, and Bill Elliott. The top 10. A Pontiac wins it. Fords and Chevys fill up the rest of the top 10. Jeremy Mayfield, Darrell Waltrip wound up 12th after crashing. Ricky Rudd, Steve Grissom, and Dick Trickle, the top 15. Then Todd Bodine, Morgan Shepherd, Derek Cope, the point leader, Jeff Gordon, and Bobby Hillen, 20th. Jeff Bodine, Ted Musgrave, Dale Jarrett, and Lake Speed, John Andretti, 25th. Then Jimmy Spencer, who drove the first 2 laps, Rich Bickle in relief, Brett Bodine, Hut Strickland, Robert Presley, and Bobby Hamilton there in 30th. Elton Sawyer ended the day in the garage. Kyle Petty, Kenny Schrader, Rick Mass, Gary Bradbury, Rich Bickle. Or excuse me, that's Shane Hall in the 40 car, not Bickle. Greg Sachs, Michael Waltrip, Mike Wallace, and Bobby Labonte, the final finisher. What a wild, wild show.
I don't ever remember a day in Winston Cup racing quite like this one, but you know, the really nice part of today is that we have seen yet another young man work his way into victory lane, and it says a lot for the future of NASCAR and for this sport that we've got guys like this that have shown this kind of talent.
Mike, there's one thing he'll never forget, this first win. That is so important. Now he knows he can do it. Momentum's on his side. Look for him to win again.
There goes Ward Burton. There's Gale and Bill Davis coming up the steps to the press box to be interviewed by the print media. And there's that car going to inspection in the NASCAR garage. Road Test Magazine is next on TNN Motorsports. We'll be with you live next weekend from Phoenix. We'll tape the Southwest Tour race on Friday. We'll bring you the Super Truck by Craftsman Series live on Saturday and the Winston Cup cars live on Sunday. For Randy Pemberton and Glenn Jarrett, who patrolled the pits today, for Dick Berggren, and Buddy Baker, I'm Mike Joy, congratulating Ward Burton on his first ever Winston Cup victory. All's well that ends well. So long from Rockingham, everybody. We'll talk to you next weekend from Phoenix, Arizona.